Welcome to the Couch Potato Sports Show, your internet radio home for all sports, news, and talk. Join Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, and the Eagle Eye, Bill Cerna, and the best co-host anyone could ask for, Cuervo. We cover it all. NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, as well as indoor football and high school sports. Now, it's time. Here's Sonny Clark.
Everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we are here on our Sunday morning tradition, continuing in on our 12th year, moving into our Baker's Dozen 13 in February of 2022. Welcome into the show, and we've got a good one going on this week number 2. Lots of interesting things happening in week number 1 as far as in results and everything else. And so let's just get this out of the way because it makes me sick to my stomach. That's right, my brother went to week number 1 of the bragging rights. Pick them 11-5, and when I did the count, I couldn't believe it, but it is what it is, and we got everybody's pick in today as well. So I'm excited about that, as we got it in a little bit early as far as that's concerned. So where do we stand on the pick 'em? Let's take a quick look at. Here it is. Frank Clark on top, 11-5. Cuervo, DC, Dennis Clark Rice from Brooklyn, all at 9-7. Myself, Opie, Brian Tarvin at 8-8. And Jonathan at 7-9, bringing up the end. We may have some additions to this. 2 ladies. I'm going to try to get my brother's wife involved with this and see if she will do it. And we'll try to get Cuervo's woman involved with this because she's listen, she knows her stuff, man. She came up on this show and made me look stupid. Now, granted, that's normally not hard. I mean, because when you think of Sonny Clark, you go, do you think he knows what he's talking about? I would say probably not. That also includes the next guy that's coming in. That is Super Obi-Wan, as I have called him for years and years and years. And let's see, is he here? Is he here? Is he here? There he is.
I'm here.
How you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing good. I had a late night watching some college football last night. Woke up bright and early this morning. Got my big old cup of coffee here. Ready to go.
I'm hearing you on the cup of coffee. Very much needed as we go. By the way, just to let everybody know, Thursday night football, we had the New York Giants at the Washington Redskins. My brother Fred, who won last week's pick'em, was out on the island, and that island sunk for him. But he tried to get one up on everybody with that pick. You know he did. You just know he did. But he drops back, so we'll take a look more at the standings come next week. We'll hand out the awards of the weekly pick'em, as I'm capable of doing a lot of things now. That being said, that's the name of this show. Before we get going, Obi, let's take a look at some news that's going on in the NFL. As right now, as you took the couple of pass rushers down for the nation's team. That's right, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. So there's been some moves around. Michael Parsons is going to move to defensive end. Colts expect to get Eric Fisher to start today. And the NFL finds Ronnie Harmon. And while the Chiefs assistant only gets a warning, we may or may not touch into that. It was stupid anyway. NFL finds Devontae David for the helmet throw. I thought that was kind of interesting. They need to get back to finding people for not having their helmets on and taking them off. It's kind of a show-up thing. They need to get back to that. Patriots, Trent Brown out versus the Jets. We'll have more injury information coming to you. I do have the injury reports. Lamar Jackson, should he get his contract done now before he sucks it up this way? Better sign a new contract that might be signed out. That's what I think, because you don't know how Lamar Jackson's going to be at the end of this one. seeing where they, how they were last week. What do you think of them this week? We'll talk about that. Jets are going to have Crowder on Sunday. That's huge. And by the way, the Bucs spoke to Richard Sherman. Yes, the guy that has got the mental problems trying to break down the door. They talked to him after getting the injury from Sean Murphy. And the Bears are going to have Jason Peters on Sunday. And the 49ers here we go. Same old story as last year. Another rash of injuries, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But that is what the latest news that is going on in the NFL here today. So, watch the Warriors lose again. Listen, are you a Warriors fan there, Opie? I didn't know about that. Okay,
no,
so
I did not do that.
He must be
a Warriors fan. Oh, yeah. By the way, I'll tell Todd Mintz. I'll tell him yes. Todd Graham does suck.
Oh, okay. There you go. So Todd, there you go. And I don't know anything about Hawaii or anything, but hey, it is what it is. By the way, all right. So that being said, that's the name of this show. Quick news that was out there. We jumped into that. By the way, lots of things going on the Couch Potato Sports Show today. As we introduce the games, you know how I had the games coming up beforehand. Well, I extended that out for a video for each game. It's going to have some of the graphics of some of the stats of certain players. As we introduce it, it's going to be about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. But I'll be talking over it, and we can all talk over it, so it will be kind of cool anyway. So we'll be taking a look at some of those stats that are going to be coming on. Yes, it takes a lot of work to get this show up and running. It took me 4 hours to get that done because, remember, we have 16 games going on as well. So I don't know. I don't know why anybody would stay up and watch Hawaii regardless. I mean, you get that now. That is a dedicated college football fan right there. If you're staying up to 3 a.m. watching football, and especially Hawaii. I don't know who they play.
They played. Who did they play? That's a good
I don't
question.
know.
I'll figure that out. I'll get that out.
Ohio State gets the victory, so you get the bounce back week. Not
too impressed. They did not. What did I say last week about Ohio State and my Cleveland Browns? When you have a chance to crush somebody's freaking throat, you do it. I'm gonna tell you what.
Step on their throat, man. I hate people that'll let up. I hate when they go into the prevent defense because it prevents
Ohio State very young in the defensive backfield, and they proved it yesterday. Tulsa gained over 500 yards on Ohio State defense.
That's crazy. Listen, I don't know much about college football. Okay, listen, I'll be the first to admit it, but I will tell you, I do know that that Tulsa's team probably should not be sitting there at all, trying to make any kind of impact in any game.
And it was at the shoe.
Yeah. How embarrassing. But Michigan gets the win, and so I was a little bit happy about that as they are undefeated.
Already had a big win yesterday too.
Did the Spartans win? I didn't check. They
beat Miami in Miami.
Wow, that's a big win. That's actually a pretty big win. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Guess what? He is here. He is ready, and he's got his
can't see me.
Yeah, you can't see him. He is the MVP, the man that protects the country, the man that's about ready to retire. And oh man, listen.
Oh God.
You can't see me.
Hey, Cuervo,
What the
I don't have anything today. I just got a nice shirt.
Sonny, come on. Sonny, it was a great moment, and then Sonny didn't have his Jaguar jersey.
Yeah, of course. Well, the problem is you can't get the Jaguar gear from the green screen behind me. I'd much rather have the nice background there for us here to look at instead of. I'm sure you don't want to see
Dallas area, something burning.
Yes, you don't want to see Jag paraphernalia around here, especially as bad as they're playing. Oh my God! But Cuervo, I don't know if you saw my brother in the lead on the pick'em. So we got everybody's got a little work to do here to try to get back, as we the closest one was 2 games back, 3 games back for some, and 4 for another. But it is what it is. I'm ready for the pick'em, and I know for a fact that Cuervo is ready to rock and roll. But boy, I tell you, all right. So give me the story. What's with the high and tight? Did you change days, change times? What are you doing with the high and tight?
Yeah, I changed the time. So it'll be later on in the day when I go to do that.
All right, so we
no
got
more interruptions. I've done it enough. I want to be here for the full 3 hours,
and
I'm going to be here for the full 3 hours.
All right, we get the fine co-host of the show here for the full ride. I'm excited about that. So that, of course, that being said,
thank you, Obi.
yeah, there you go. Michigan, not for real. Hey, yeah. All right, so
Obi's probably not the guy to ask that question. Obi's probably not the guy to ask that question if Michigan's for real. Well, of course he's going to say no.
Of course they're going to tank sometime this year. I mean, it's almost a given. You know, it's almost like knowing your Jaguars suck. You just got to admit it. That's what you got going on.
It's an illusion right now.
Yeah,
they're getting everybody hyped up there in that stupid state up north.
Yeah,
and they get all hyped up, and they're going to go play Sparty. Sparty's going to beat them down, man.
I don't know. We'll find out. But it is what it is. It's that being said, we got a full rack of games. Congratulations to everybody but my brother, who was trying to get one up on us. He took the Giants. He damn near got the one up. You know, let's just briefly talk about that. The offsides, you know, listen, I am a firm believer that one play doesn't cost you a game, but I'm sorry. That snap right there, that cost him the football game because he missed it and they had won. So that one play, it did come down to that one play. Game of inches, big time. That's what they say about the NFL, right? I mean, guys, that's one of the things that everybody talks about. This is a game of inches. So that being said, I wasn't impressed with any of it. I actually sat down and watched after the first drives because I'm driving home from work. I missed it, so I listened to that on the radio. And I sat and I watched this football game. Man, the NFC East is bad. Cuervo, it's the same old, same as last year.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because it's like all the teams are bad, but it makes it competitive. It's kind of weird to say, but it's like when you're watching, you know, 2 bad teams play each other, it actually makes it entertaining. So
yes.
But because it was a really good game, and you know, I don't even go back to the offsides ultimately would have changed who won the game. Well, but let's not forget Darius Slayton also dropped a pass in the end zone.
Oh God, that was
wide open. I mean,
there were a lot of plays like that.
I'd say it was about that much overthrown by Daniel Jones, but I still think it was a catchable ball. Yeah, and I think Slayton should have caught that.
Yep.
But, you know, to put it all on that one play, I say I'd put 3/4 of it on that offsides, but not the entire, you know, thing. Because had the Giants scored that touchdown, we're not even talking about this field goal right now.
Firmly agree. And that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. That's one thing they really got to get really straightened out in reality. You've got to – and you know, you say whatever you want. I agree 100% with Jim. Of course, that's probably the reason why we're friends. When you got an opportunity to put someone down, you got to put them down, and that's what we did not see in reality when you take a look at that game there. Obi, what was your take? Did you get an opportunity to watch it?
I watched bits and parts of it, and I watched actually probably the most exciting part, which was like the fourth quarter, but. I tell you, I agree with Cuervo. I mean, the NFC East is not a good division right now. They, you know, it's just, it was a good game. It was an exciting game to watch. Okay, and I mean, the Redskins quarterback situation with Fitzmagic out. They have their backup come in, and he does okay. Daniel Jones, I guess, is Daniel Jones. He reminds me, every time I see him and they talk about him, I remind of the video, Sonny, you put out. He trips over the yard mark, the yard line. I was like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's tough to kind of watch the NFC East right now, and the Washington football team has the defense.
Give me a second, guys.
The championship, right? Mm-hmm. They have the defense. They just need to score points. Now Thursday night they did score points,
right?
So yeah, that's what I came from it. And I have to say, a really good friend of mine, huge Giants fan. She lives out here in Arizona. She said that she was throwing remotes, throwing pillows.
I love it.
Oh, she was so bad.
I love that. I love that. You're that much of a fan that you go ahead and decide to throw a temper tantrum. I like that. I mean, temper tantrums are okay in your own place where you live. So I'm all about them. Bring on the temper tantrums. I'm pretty happy with it. So
she's a Jersey girl. So there was some F-bombs flying around.
Gosh.
F-bombs and think about this, probably not maybe F, but throwing stuff all over the house. You gotta love it. I love that idea. Good stuff. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Let's get to it. We got to hit these games, and we're going to roll with it. So we are going to do it. And again, guys, new feature here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. When we get to the games, we're going to talk about some of the stuff. You'll see some stats going across. I've got the intros for them, but it is what it is. So let's do this. Let's look at week number 1, the first game that's on tap, the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I'm excited about this one. Why? Because I still want to see a little bit of what Jameis Winston is all about. Is he for real? And will we get Sam Darnold, the guy that he is? Look at those numbers, 24, 35, 279, touchdown, 102. Does he bring that today against the Saints? And because, listen, you take a look at the Saints. The Saints, did what they did to Green Bay. Was their defense there? Hell, I don't know. But on the other side, you look at some of the targets, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 80 yards for DJ Moore. That is big because guess what? In order for you to win, you're going to have to get that. You're also going to have to get some other things involved. There it is. Christian McCaffrey, 9 targets, 9 receptions, 89 yards. You got to get that guy going. 21 carries, 98 yards. Almost 5 yards a clip. Guys, this is what's going on. But here it is. The rush defense holds down Green Bay. A pretty good running back. And then also, look what they did to Aaron Rodgers. 36.8 quarterback ranking, and there he is on the sideline looking like he just got done drinking everything. So it does not look good right now, but here it is. Jameis Winston, 14 of 20, 148, 5 touchdowns, 130 quarterback rating, and the biggest question about all of this is what's going to happen. Here comes the pass rush. Will they be able to get out of the way of the pass rush that we saw? 6 sacks, 10 quarterback hits. This was a big-time defensive effort coming from Carolina last week. So when we look at all of this and we see what's going to be headed our way, guys, and let me get there he is. Get Cuervo back in. Oh wait, why am I not getting Cuervo's picture?
Don't know.
Oh, he's froze because there it is. I see the hit there. He looks, there he is. Now he's back. So we got your connection. So looking at all of that, big time numbers that are coming your way. When you're taking a look at this game, Cuervo, this week, the Saints in Carolina, what do you think? Okay, I think we're going to get him on the stall. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll shoot this up to you, Obi, and let me put him back in until I move out the thing. There he is. Hey, there, Cuervo, can you hear us?
Keep freezing.
Oh, okay. I think we lost him again. All right.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I see him moving, but I don't think he can hear us. So yeah, we're gonna lose him. So I'm gonna boo him out. I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna go ahead and come back a different way. Hopefully come back by the phone. And let me just take that off of there because where's it at? So we can see Obi. There we go. Take that off. There we go. That being said, taking a look at this game, Obi, what do you expect to see from the Saints and the Carolina Panthers today?
Oh, I tell you, this game really it intrigues me because of the information that I was seeing come across. The little ticker. Last night while watching college football, they were talking about that there's going to be quite a few Saints coaches that are going to be out and not on the sidelines. And maybe the NFL is not as big of a deal, but I think it could be I think it could be a difference maker. Jameis Winston is he had a good week, a really good week. Didn't throw for a lot of yards, took advantage of turnovers and they cashed in. And so, 148 yards, but yet 5 touchdowns. That tells a lot to me about a football game. That tells me short fields, turnovers, possibly penalties. I didn't watch the game. Made Aaron Rodgers look very pedestrian. The New Orleans Saints defense. I find this game very intriguing. Home field, Carolina, the Saints. And I'm just trying to look. I'm trying to look up what I picked. Who did I pick? Oh, I picked the Aints, didn't I? I picked the Aints. So I think this is going to be I believe this is going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to. And maybe I'm taking the easy way out. It's going to come down to what team is more efficient and what team has less mistakes is going to win this ball game.
Absolutely, and less mistakes. As much as I don't want to admit it, or as much as it's hard for me to admit. We've seen Jameis Winston not throw an interception. Throwing the ball away, making good decisions. Now, again, we have talked about that on this show. When he was with Bruce Arians said, air it out, screw it. We don't have anything to lose. We're not going to the playoffs. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. So it don't matter. You're not going to be here next year either. So he didn't care. And that falls squarely on Bruce Arians as far as that's concerned. But sooner or later, you just have to realize who you are and where you are in the standings. And when you can't get what you need to the standings, that's a problem. There we go. We get you on the phone, right, Cuervo? Seems like that's working.
I need a new laptop.
Better.
I need especially if I'm going to be going to school, I need a new laptop.
Hey, man, go get yourself a Chromebook. You'll love it if you're a Google guy. If you're an Apple guy, you'll hate it. But if you're a Google guy, I love me some Chromebook.
I'm a little mixed. I think when it comes to the phone, I'm used to Apple. But if a Chromebook is affordable and it works well, then I'd probably look into that.
I could do this on Chromebook if I wanted to, but I like the desktop and I like that setup. So check it out. That's good wireless and it don't take a lot of signal to work too. So if you got bad bandwidth, it'll still work. So check it out when you get the opportunity. That being said, Cuervo, we saw a Jameis Winston throwing the balls away, not making mistakes, huge things for that football team. But as we saw in the video, this game I think is going to come down to what is going to happen. Will Christian McCaffrey be able to get away from the defense that did show up last week against Green Bay? Was it a real show up? Was that the real Green Bay Packers? That part we won't know until this week. But looking at that, that's what's going to have to happen if Carolina's going to get an opportunity to win this one out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that I think I see the direction that Carolina's going in with Sam Darnold, and I think that once he gets a little more comfortable, Carolina's going to have a pretty formidable offense, and then defensively, I think they still got some things to work on, but overall, I kind of like what I saw from Carolina last week. As far as the Saints guys, I couldn't help but just smile at what happened to them what they did last week to good old that team up north. So the team in green,
Yeah, you were just having a ball just watching the whole thing. But you know, so let's just talk about it briefly, Cuervo. Was that the Green Bay Packers we know? Or is there something being done here? Is this an Aaron Rodgers, a little trickery going on here as far as what we can expect from him? Or is he really the liability that we saw in reality last week?
Look, it's like we talked about on the post that you put on Facebook, and I'm not going to back off from it. I think Rodgers he stuck it to him, and I think it's going to continue here and there throughout the season, and I think that's going to show them that they got a decision to make as an organization, either make sure he gets paid or send him somewhere that he's going to be wanted a little bit more. Because I think that's the thing. It's not even about the money, actually. So it's more about, you know, his worth as an employee of that team. And I feel like he's not getting that reciprocation that he's looking for.
He's slacking. He's a slacker, is what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. He's slacking.
No,
he's doing it on purpose. Now I'll say what I said in the comments. I hope that this was a one game only thing, because I wouldn't want to necessarily see that this is an Aaron Rodgers just sticking it to him the whole time. I don't want that to necessarily be the case when I see what's going on there.
I mean, I'd be okay with it, Sonny, but if whatever happens, happens.
Yep. So they got an interesting game. We'll talk about that. So taking a look at this game, I mean, I don't know. I've seen a lot of things from both teams that were really good. I don't know if the Saints defense is really as good as it is. So Obi, what do you see? When you're looking at it, and how you think and who you think is going to win it? I got your pick, but what do you think there, Obi?
Like I said before, Cuervo came on. The Saints. I picked the Saints to win this game. I think it's going to be really hard. I did start off by saying that the Saints are having 6 or 7 coaches who are going to be missing this game, and I think that could be a factor. But I think I'm going to stick with my Saints pick. I really think that Sam Darnold is going to mature with this Carolina Panther team. You know why? Because Sam Darnold's going to realize that he always has the safety valve. He's going back to pass. There's left downfield. He's got the safety valve called Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
And you get that ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands, shit's going to happen.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And so, it just, like I said, I think this is an intriguing game. I think this has the potential to possibly be one of the more entertaining games of the week. Not that these two teams are juggernauts and elite teams in the NFL. It's just the matchup. The matchup makes it a good, possibly just like on Thursday night game. Two not very good teams, but the matchup made the game as an exciting game to watch. So I'm going to stick with my Saints pick. But if I had to, if any of the games I was going to waver on, this could be a game that I would waver and go to the Panthers side. But I'm going to stick with the Saints.
Cuervo, who you got and why?
I'm going to stick with the Saints as well, Sonny. I just think what I saw from Winston last week, it's so amazing. Under 200 yards passing with 5 touchdowns. That's just mind blowing to me. I never thought that was even possible. So
what does that tell you, Cuervo?
Well, I mean, that tells you that I could tell you a lot of different things. I mean, short fields. What I mean?
Hey, what it says is red zone. I mean, you get in the red zone is what it tells me. And that's where games are won and lost. You can say whatever you want. Now, I'm not a Jameis Winston fan, and I'm, by the way, not buying what I saw last week, okay? Just to let everybody know. Mm-hmm. But guess what? That's just one game out of 17. Okay, so he's 1/17 into the season while he has a good game. But what he does need to do, he needs to find his receivers. He needs to get more yards. If you're going to consider him the next big thing over in New Orleans, or for that matter, just get him past Taysom Hill, he's going to have to continue that kind of thing going on. However, I'm not going with it, but this was a game that I was wavering on. As you take a look, I got all the picks right here, and right there, I don't have a pick. There's a couple of games there I don't have a pick yet.
quarter.
This was one of them. But when I was thinking about what's going to happen and who's the big superstars on each side of this one, and the one that comes to me is Christian McCaffrey. This game is going to be made by Christian McCaffrey. Whether that is he's going to run for yards or he's going to be that much of a red herring that you're going to see Sam Darnold have a good game. I'm going with Carolina in a mild upset here. So to see if Carolina can be for real, this needs to start with this same team. Go ahead, Jim.
If McCaffrey has the same stats as he has last week, Carolina wins this game.
It's like it's too bad they took a loss last week. By the way, it's just it's you see how they played and you see what's going on, but the total different team that they're playing this weekend. And I'll tell you, I'm excited about this one. This should be a good one. That is headed the way. That's the first game that's up on board. Now they're going to go into the second game, and Cuervo is going to be quite happy. Let's take a look at what's up on board. It is the Bengals and the Bears. An interesting game. We got some young quarterbacks coming in, doing what they want. We get this one on the early game, so Cuervo is going to be out of here right away. Joe Burrow, 20 of 27, 261, 2 touchdowns. Quarterback rating 128. That's the big thing I like to see. 7 targets for how about Jamar Chase? And 5 receptions, 101 yards and a touchdown. Big time stuff headed your way with the passing game coming from the Bengals. But on the other side, you get the pass defense. Matthew Stafford, it was a big time last week. But it was Matthew Stafford, supposedly the better quarterback. But we need to see that pick up on the other side. The O-line, though, the Bengals give up five sacks. 7 quarterback hits. Come on. You got to protect your guy, especially Joe Burrow coming off an injury. That means you got to get Joe Mixon involved. 29 carries, 127 yards, touchdown, averaging 4.4 clip. But David Montgomery on the other side, 108 yards and a touchdown on 16 carries. 7 yards a clip. That's big stuff when you can get that. And the Bears haven't seen that in a very long time. Justin Field, 2 of 2, 10 yards, 3 rush, and a touchdown. Where's he going to be involved in this game? That's going to be the interesting thing when you take a look at the Bears. How much will he be a part of this game? And Cuervo going right to the Bears. What do you expect? I mean, in reality, when you take a look at what Justin Field did, he gave you just a little taste of what he might be able to do. So the question will be, what is Andy Dalton's status going into this one, Cuervo, when you take a look at this? Do we see him adios? I said by week 3, by the way, we would probably have a Justin Field. And if they drop this game, we might see him right in week 3.
I mean, yeah, maybe. You just never know. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, hell, Andy Dalton could go down to injury. And then we have no choice but to see Justin Fields at that point. But I'm gonna say what I've been saying, and I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna change my mind just because now the season's, in. I, as a Bear fan, I personally, just my personal opinion, I don't want to see Fields be the starter until they fix the offensive line problem, or improve it. It doesn't mean they have to get different guys. But if they could just start improving something, do maybe a different scheme or something that shows me that they can protect the quarterback better than what they are, better than what they do now. And if you noticed in that game, Sunday night, Aaron Donald got closer and closer and closer, and then he eventually got to Andy Dalton. And it became an even bigger problem than what it already was with the not with. So here's my thing. So for the first time in a long time, I'm actually more disappointed in the defense than I am the offense.
Oh, absolutely.
The way they played in the this last Sunday night, because I don't know about you guys, but at the lowest level, and I'm talking about when you're playing Pop Warner, when you're playing in middle school, when you're playing in high school, one thing that you're taught is when a defender catches the ball and falls to the ground, you put your hands on him.
Just
right?
put a hand. Just a hand.
So Eddie Jackson, Bojack, baby, get with me here. Listen, stay with me here. Just touch him. That's all you got. You could have saved 6 points if you had just put your hand on him.
Yeah, but that 6 points wasn't the all to get all as far as that game is concerned. But
that's what started
very
it, Sonny.
valid
That's what
point.
started the spiral.
Yes. Well, and you got to start somewhere, right? I mean, you take a look, you got to start somewhere. What is, with this team? So, I'll shoot it up to.
Well, here's the other thing. Let me interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
Here's the other thing. You showed it on the
video
reel going into this game. Dave Montgomery, 16 carries, really?
Right, exactly.
When he was averaging 6 yards, 7 yards a carry, and you stopped giving him the ball?
What the heck? See, when Walter Payton was playing well, they didn't go against what was being successful. In fact, they shoved it down your throat and said, stop Walter, which was not very easy. And they have the same thing going on. You're absolutely right. It's play calling. Where's that come from? Play calling is not coming from the quarterback, Andy Dalton or Justin Field. Where's the play calling coming from? Really simple. A coach on the hot seat. Griddle marks are already burying deep into that hamburger of an ass of the head coach. And it's not going to go away until they win games like this one today. When you look at this, listen, the Cincinnati Bengals are nothing to write home to mama about. I mean, Obi, you from Ohio, they may have been popular. They may have a cool logo, but remember the coach they had for many years that couldn't get the job done. So you got all this going on. You got a different Cincinnati team that might be up on the upswing of where they are as far as a franchise is concerned. This is a game the Bears have to go out and say, doggone it, we're winning this one, and win it like with a statement. And I don't know if we're going to get that today. What do you think there, Obi?
I picked, by the way, Cuervo, Bears are going to win this game. That's who I picked. But here's the thing, Cuervo. I'm right with you. And Sonny, he's known me for years. This is what I say. If you're running the football or if you're passing, whatever is working, you run it until they stop it. You run it down their throat, and you just keep on pounding that rock, right? Pound it. And that was the thing that, we'll talk about it in a little bit when we come up to my brownies about last week. We'll get there. But, yes, I'm telling you, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the upswing. Joe Burrow is the real deal.
Yes.
He is going to be I don't know if he's going to be a superstar quarterback in the NFL, but he's going to be a very good quarterback.
Yep.
He's got the moxie. He's got the smarts. He's got the receivers. They're all young. They're a very young team. They're going to be good, down the road. That's even going to make that division even that much better. When the Bengals get better, oh man, that's going to be a crazy division, right? But
yeah,
I just see the Bears, I think they're going to fix a few things on their defensive side. Yes, they got the Bengals this week, but this is where the Bears, I agree with you, Sonny, the Bears need to make a statement today. And that statement is beating the Bengals and not letting it be close and just putting Bengals away early. Because if you let the Bengals hang around, hey, the Vikings, how did that feel last week? You let the Bengals hang around, they came back and they snake bit you.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the Bears are going to win this game, and the big thing is they need to do it in a convincing and early way. Can't let the Bengals hang around, or this could be dicey in the fourth quarter.
And think about this, okay? You let them hang around, okay? If you're the it factor, that's when you go to your guy. That's when if you don't let somebody hang out, if you're gonna put the foot on the throat, you go with the success that was going there. And listen, the stat reel didn't lie. I mean, listen, almost 7 yards clip those are some serious numbers, and those are the numbers that they have got to keep up. Now, that being said, of course, I did not get to the injury on the last one, so I'll go with it here. The Bengals, they will be without safety Ricardo Allen with a hamstring. Looks like Trey Waynes with a hamstring, and Allen is set to go on injured reserve from what we're hearing. So there's no telling how long he'll be back. Gone. Linebacker Marcus Bailey with the knee. Cornerback Darius Phillips. He's questionable with the thigh. On the side of the Bear, defensive tackle Eddie Goldman with the knee, unlikely to play. And so he's listed as doubtful. Larry Borum, ankle. He's been ruled out for the game. Marquise Goodwin, quad, he is questionable, which, by the way, former Rowlett Eagle, so hopefully he's better. And then Igawari, however you say that guy's name, the linebacker shoulder injury. Daryl Mooney, he's got a back problem. They're questionable. Jason Peters with the quad, questionable. Robert Quinn.
He can stay out.
Yeah. And Robert Quinn with the back end wide receiver. Webster is questionable with a hamstring. That's the injury report for the Chicago Bears. And that being said, so we know that Obi is going to go with the Chicago Bears. Let's go to the resident Chicago Bear fan looking at this game. What do you got? Who's going to win it?
Well, Sonny, I think that I think the Bears need to bounce back from what happened last week. I don't think a lot of people really expected them to beat the Rams. Of course, I was excited at the beginning when they, Montgomery
jumped out.
He got that huge run, and I was like, all right, here we go.
Yep.
I need the defense. I need the defense to play how I know they can play with that top ability, that top level that I know that they can play at. So, I think the problem too is that Nagy, I think he tries to outsmart people.
Yes.
And he
He's
shoots
too
himself in the foot.
cutesy.
Yeah, he tries to get too fancy, too
cute.
like, yeah, and the thing is, when you do that, it's like you guys said, you go away from what was working because you're trying to outsmart somebody, but all you're doing is you're tripping over your own feet. Yes,
big time.
Well, but here, so Bears are back home, or the Bears are in Chicago, first game of the year, and I think for Andy Dalton, I think this is an opportunity for him to maybe take a jab at his old team. And I think that, I don't know if I want to call it a revenge game, but I mean, that's the team that drafted him. That's the team that he took to the playoffs a few times. And, they gave up on him for good reason, but they still gave up on him. And I'm sure he feels a certain way about that. So, Andy, go out there and show him that you can still, get stuff done. So with that being said, Sonny, I'm going to go with
what?
Did you hear it? Were you able to hear it?
I heard it. That's why I put the what up. Yes, I was able to hear it. So
you're going Cincinnati. I already know you, Sonny. You're going.
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
I am going Cincinnati. I think they got the better quarterback. Hey, listen, when all else fails, look at how bad the defense played last week for the Chicago Bears. What was done to correct it? Will it be corrected fast enough? Not going up against Joe Burrows, who is the real deal. I'm telling you. And you want to know what? As far as the game is concerned, we know who the real deal is on the football field, but now we got the real deal here in studio.
Dig it, sucker!
I can dig it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. This guy should be a walking model, and he don't even know it. The good-looking, the guy with the best smile on the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is. I dig it, sucker. It's Bryce from Brooklyn.
There he is.
to see you, my man.
I feel like
What's
it's been
up, fellas?
forever since I've seen Bryce.
Yeah, well, we didn't see him last week because he was in the stands in Buffalo watching the Steelers. By the way, just to let everybody know, there was only one person that picked the Steelers last week in our pick 'em. The Island Man. That was me. So that being said,
The guy up
good
there.
to see you. How you doing?
Good to see everyone. Cuervo, it has been a little bit. I only have until 11, but I wanted to hop in and say, Sonny, you did pick them.
Yes,
I thought this was one of the games Pittsburgh was going to lose
Yes.
in what I believe to be a good season. But I thought this was a game they were going to lose. And you know what? That team came to play.
Yes.
That team came to play. It was. Look, I will say this: the offensive line wasn't terrible, but wasn't great. It was average. I thought Ben was average, but a lot of what we talked about, I want to say 2 weeks ago, about guys being able to step up and certain players being able to make plays when they need to win games and learning how to win. That was very much it. I mean, that defense, the Bills couldn't block them.
No,
They couldn't block them. It didn't matter who they
just-
put out there. They couldn't block
They,
them.
they buffaloed their offensive line. That's what happened. It was ugly, and it just as ugly as the offensive output from the Chicago Bears last week. That was god awful. But here's the thing, though: when you take a look at that whole thing, as far as what Buffalo did last week, hey, listen, the quarterback didn't have a bad game. I mean, it wasn't great. Okay, let's but nothing right, but not horrible, not horrible. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, you were expecting to win that game. But I'm with you, Bryce. This was a you want to know what, punk? You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the Steelers game. That's what they did. They went to the thing. You don't, punk. You don't know nothing. And everybody gave up on Big Ben. By the way, Big Ben, you say he was average. I say he was a B minus. That's good enough, especially with him and that defense that's going to be headed your way. Which, by the way, just to let you know, Bryce, I did, after what we talked about, I moved the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this division. So I made the switch. So that's the reason why I have some empty ones on my list here, because I like to hear things, and I didn't think of that. And Bryce, thank you very much for that.
Sonny, let me say this, and I'm glad OB is on this call. Because, no, but not maybe for the reason you think. Because 2 weeks ago, Cuervo, you weren't here. We talked about what is on paper versus what happens in the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
What you saw in week 1 was an exact example of, we see on paper people saying, oh, this is what it looks like on paper. But until you get into the stadium and you see how people execute it, you got to be careful how much stock you put into that, i.e. Pittsburgh, the plays they were able to make, that defense, Josh Allen. On paper, Josh Allen ascending, but you're going to ask him to be Tom Brady and throw it 50 times a game and not run it? How effective is Josh Allen going to be over 16 games if he has to do that? Juxtapose that to OB's Browns defense. Now, all we're talking about is, even though it's the Chiefs, the Browns defense is going to be elite. And we said it could be good, but it's on paper.
Yes.
You have to go do it. And so in that stadium, they had that game. It's one thing to be good on paper and have talent. It's another thing to step up and make defensive plays and stops when you need to against the Chiefs.
Absolutely. And listen, and we'll find out about that. Now, we only got you for a few minutes, so we're going to just go a little outside the schedule because we've got him here. And this is a new segment that you have not seen there, Bryce, so it's all set. It is, I'm going to introduce the show with the video stats. Give me a second, because up next, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers get the Oakland Ravens. Will it be good? I don't know. TJ Watt, 2 sacks, 3 touchdowns. 5 quarterback hits all over the football field. Made the hit Josh look bad. He's a bad man. And Josh Allen, as good as he is, 79.7 quarterback rating. That ain't gonna get the job done. But that's what ended up happening because that Steeler D was all over the field. And you saw breaking up passes, knocking the balls down. And guys, I'm telling you right now, but Derek Carr, 435, two touchdowns, one interception. Quarterback rating needs to be a little high, but it did get the win for him. 19 targets going to Waller, 10 receptions, 105 yards and a touchdown. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, if that guy gets loose in the Pittsburgh secondary, he could be big. Then you got Renfro, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 70 yards. Big week for him because really he's number 3. If he's going to get 70 yards, you're going to like that. But here it is. Big Ben, 188 and touchdown. His quarterback rating could be up, but here's the thing. He got the job done right here. Finding the guys where they need to be and putting the ball where his guy can only get it. There's not too many people that do it better, but here comes that Oakland defense holding Lamar Jackson 235 and a touchdown. Guys, that is success, regardless how you say the whole thing. And Derek Carr, he is going to be serious. So this here is probably, obviously, I think this is going to be more of a challenge this week than it was last week in reality, Bryce, since I got you there. What do you think about your Steelers and how you take a look at this one?
First of all, Sonny, that was a great job of leading into the segment, buddy. That's showing that you're a true pro, man.
Trying to get it done, baby.
Great have, man.
The looks aren't good looking, so I got to make the show look good. So I can't be the bald beauty that you are. So hey, there we go. So what do you think about the game that's happening today?
Man, great job. Sonny, really on point with that. This idea that the Raiders are going to pose maybe a harder challenge. Well, so yeah, I think the thing that's helping Pittsburgh is Josh Jacobs is out. So I thought that the Raiders would run the ball more because they got a better running back, and that's going to make their offense a little bit more unpredictable. Jacobs out, that's a big, big loss. I think even bigger than Ngakoue and even bigger than Gerald McCoy, who I think are great defensive players. You lose Josh Jacobs. What's that run game going to look like? I think if we saw the worst of the Pittsburgh offensive line, I wonder, could it get worse or is it only going to get better as they run the ball more with their number 1 draft pick? They're going to be at home. I think the crowd is going to be crazy. I think Ben was average, but he has a good baseline. Can that defense stop Waller? I don't think there's going to stop him. Can they control and contain him while not letting these other Raider explosive receivers get downfield and make big plays? Because Derek Carr likes to push it deep. So I think when I look at this matchup, I think it's going to be a fun game. I do not think the Raiders, because of the way they play, and Gruden, who I think is a good play caller, I think they're going to be in it. But ultimately, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. I'm going to say 24-20.
John Gruden being a great coach. Also, I do have something to say about that. Overrated.
I didn't say it was great.
Overrated. 10 million a year.
Yeah,
10 years. Oh, but listen, say whatever you want. Now, depends. Now, I thought that relationship between Gruden and Carr wasn't there. Last week kind of looked like maybe they had a little swap and spit, and maybe they're all boyfriend and boyfriend again. I don't know. We'll find out. That being said, I'll shoot it over to Cuervo. What do you think about this one? This one's a tough one. I mean, I've left this one blank too because I wanted to hear what obviously Bryce had to say. And what do you got up on this one, Cuervo?
Yeah, I mean, so I got a few thoughts on some of the stuff that Bryce said, and then the game itself. So, first thing you mentioned about Josh Allen, and it got my little hamster wheel up here turning, thinking about how are they going to over the years? I'm thinking long term here when it comes to Josh Allen. Are they going to rely on him so much that it becomes a problem? And what I'm thinking about is the situation with Aaron Rodgers. And I'm thinking about that situation and is it going to wind up becoming the same thing? Because you mentioned it and you saw it live in person in Bryce. if they rely so much on Allen and they just completely abandon the running game, is it going to be another situation where it's an 80-20 pass to run and all the weight is on Josh Allen's shoulders, and they're just going to they're gonna not destroy his career, but they're gonna wear him down. And
wow, Cuervo,
you know, so
Cuervo keeping it real. I agree.
You know, I if you're a Bills fan, you gotta be thinking about that. You gotta be worried about that if you're a Bills fan. So, you know, for his sake, I like Josh Allen. I think I'm one of many that thinks that he's got what it takes to win the MVP this year. But you know, when you get hemmed up by who I think is going to win Defensive Player of the Year and T.J. Watt, you know, it makes for a good game. So I'm sure, Bryce, you probably feel like you got your money's worth, not only because the Steelers won, but just to see two of the AFC's best go at it. You know, I mean that in itself, I think it makes it worth it. But going into this game, I think that, you know, look, Josh Jacobs is out. His backup is no slouch, though.
Yes.
Kenyon Drake is a good running back.
Unproven, though, Cuervo. Let's be honest. Unproven.
He's done some good things in the league. I think he's been a good player. That's a good point, Cuervo.
He's a reliable running back. I'm not.
There
you go.
I like that word. I think that's a good word.
Yeah, he's a 20 carry guy. I mean, you know, you never know what you're going to get from those 20 carries, but he is a guy that can carry the load. And so I think the Raider bounce will still be there, but it is going to be, what are you going to do to stop Waller? Are you going to have to bring Minka down? Are you going to have to stick the strong safety? I can't even think of who it is, but, you know, maybe add a safety to you know, kind of help contain Waller, because I think it's pretty obvious that Carr likes to look in his direction.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's going to be the number one guy he looks for. Now he's going to throw to whoever is going to, you know, Zay Jones. I mean, he got the game-winning touchdown, but I just think that the problem with Buffalo, and I think why the Steelers had so much success, and this isn't talking the Steeler defense down, Buffalo can get kind of predictable offensively, you know, and for people that really know the ins and outs, I'm sure Bryce watching that, they're like, oh, I bet they're going to do this. And he was probably right, because I think Buffalo's offense can be predictable. The Raiders, I mean,
not predictable at all. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. That's a great point.
Definitely the Forrest Gump going on there.
We could see Carr going out for passes. I mean, who the hell knows?
You're right. So, you're right. You just never know what they're going to do.
So
they can do anything.
For the defense, they're going to have to stay on their toes today, Bryce.
That's a good point.
If they're gonna you know, have success like they did last week. So I think I do like the Steelers to win this game because they're home. They're in catch-up field today. But I do think it's going to be a really close game. I don't know what the line is, but I could see the Steelers winning by 2 points. I just think it's going to be a hard-fought game.
Okay, so we'll shoot it up to Obi, the guy that's got the other team in the AFC North looking at the hated Steelers. I mean, will the pick come from hate, or will it come from fact? Obi, when you're looking at this one, what do you got going on, my man?
I see. Okay, so the Raiders had one hell of a win last week. One hell of a win.
That was a great Monday night game.
Here's what it come down to that game, and what the Raiders win is some defense and turnovers.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson is noted for turnovers, and you saw him on that last fumble he had his head down, just like a la Baker Mayfield last week. Head down, on the ground, pounding the ground, knowing, oh my God, I effed up.
Yep.
And so here it is. Here, the Steelers win this game. I don't think it's going to be as close as Cuervo says. I think it's going to be 7 to 10 points. The Steelers win. Steelers are playing at home. The crowd is going to be raucous. Ben's coming home. And T.J. Watt, the dude, is on a freaking
defensive player of the year
already.
He said, "Show me the money." They showed him the money. He said, All right, boys, get on my back.
That guy is scary, man.
He is very scary. So I have the Steelers winning. It's not. I'm not doing it. No hate the Steelers. No, I'm using this. Hey, this week I'm using this with the Steelers.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Okay, if Oakland wins, it'll be for one reason, and we saw it right here.
Don't hold back.
It's gotta be about what you get after the catch. Listen, Derek Carr can deliver the ball. There's no question about that. Just watch the damn game. The guy can deliver. It's what happens afterwards. I mean, if you're gonna be Eli Manning, throw the ball and get popped as soon as you catch the ball, you're not gonna win this game if you're Oakland. You're also gonna have to figure out Josh Jones, that whole situation with him not playing. Will that guy be able to step it up? But that defense, that defense acts like it hasn't, for Pittsburgh, it acts like it hasn't eaten in a week, okay? Every week they come out, they act like and they are all over it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, that right there, I mean, the defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers is like a little Debbie running away from me. He ain't going to get away. I'm going to get it. That Swiss cake roll is going down. And that's the Raiders, man. I'm telling you right now. I think Pittsburgh wins by 10. They're that good. And guess what? And I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to show why he should be and is a first ballot Hall of Famer. We're going to see a big game out of him. He's going to figure it out again. They are at home, so that will be.
Hey, Sonny, save some Kool-Aid for Bryce. He's thirsty too.
Guys, I got it. Oh, go ahead, Obi.
Hey, Bryce, are my Bears going to win today?
I got your Bears winning.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I got your Bears winning.
Yeah.
I want to say about this game. I'm not going to say this is a key, but this is something to watch out. What does the Steelers do their opening drive? If they go and they give the ball to Najee, and he's somewhat successful,
watch out.
The Steelers are going to pound the rock, and they're going to control the ball and keep it away from David Carr.
Well, knowing Ngakoue and McCoy, so
you got to test them out. Guys. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Real quick, Houston, Bryce, before you're out of here, you got Cleveland, and they're backing it up with Houston. I'll do my thing in a minute. What do you got as far as Cleveland and Houston? Houston getting the big win last week over my Jags. What do you think?
Listen, Obi is going to hate me for this. This is my upset pick of the week. I got Houston coming in. And everyone is counting them out, and I have no logical reason. I just think the football gods are going to look down and say, something needs to happen here.
No, you're doing it wrong. It's this.
I need to be drug tested. Obi, I'm sorry. I could just see it now. I can see it now. The Houston Texans, out of everything, come into Cleveland and get a win.
Wow.
And
Bryce,
I could see it.
Bryce, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Real quick, guys. I always love real quick. What you said, Sonny, with the clip, gotta watch out for Renfro. I think Cole Beasley is overrated. Renfro is a good slot receiver. That guy's tough.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
The Raiders have a really good front four. So like you said, Obi, we gotta block them. If we don't block them, that's gonna be a problem. So all good points.
That's the one. The couch potato quarter is that almost did it. Have yourself a good one. Always good to see you.
Take it easy, Bryce.
All right.
And it is, and so that we get Bryce. I love having him on the show whenever he gets here. It just becomes fun. Now that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. Let's get to that game as the let's see here. Since we're out of the area, where is it? Wait, I can't find it. There it is, right here. So let's get to the clip. Head to the clip. We got it. Here it is. Houston in Cleveland. I think if I did this right, they're at home. So that's always a good thing. But Baker Mayfield, 21-28, 321. How about 11.5? yards per attempt, that's pretty good. But that interception, kind of costly last week. But on the other side, we got 3 interceptions. Throw away from that guy. All right, don't throw it that way. Throw it away from him. He proved what he can do. And then you got the rush at 16 carries, 76 yards. Just, not the greatest, but you just need something to stop him. So that was good. Nick Chubb again, 15 carries, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look at this guy. This guy gets the hole, and he just insults the hole. He finds it and gets a big. Tyrod Taylor, 21 of 33, 291, 2 touchdown, 112.1 rate. By the way, he used to be the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, took them to their first playoffs. Hey, he's suitable, adequate. Hell, I don't know. But here it is. Brandon Cook, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 132. You think they're going deep? They're going to go deep. Will it happen? I don't know. This is what makes this game interesting because of the X factor. Tyrod Taylor. Will Tyrod Taylor be that guy we saw last week? Will he be the guy that took the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs for the first time forever? Is Tyrod Taylor really a good quarterback? He is adequate. But when you're taking a look at this game, I hate to even say this because it makes me puke in my mouth. Baker Mayfield right now is kind of showing that he might be for real. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe he's being a chameleon. Maybe he will be the guy that we saw make the mistake all the time this year. Maybe that was just one mistake. Hell, I don't know. But I will tell you, if Cleveland is going to be the team, going to be the guy, they need Baker Mayfield. They need Baker Mayfield to be who he was last year, which was bounce back games. We saw it last year. They were able to do what I never thought that they could do. They take a bad loss or get a big win and follow it up with just a crappy performance. I don't know. Will we get that? I don't know. Tyrod Taylor, it's going to be interesting. He's going to be the X factor in this. I went Cleveland, and it made me puke in my throat. But, Obi, looking at this one, what do you got going on?
Well, it's going to be just like what I said last week. No matter if the Browns beat the Chiefs or if the Browns lost to the Chiefs, this week is the game. It really will tell, I believe, how our season's going to go.
No
Are we
question.
going to come out and absolutely crush the Texans, which on paper we should? Or are we going to come out and it's going to be close late in the second half and we do just enough to win? Or do we come out and unfortunately do what Bryce says we're going to do, is completely crap the bed?
Yes.
Those last 2 things that I said can't happen.
Absolutely. Because why? Because it turns into guess
the
what?
Bears
right here.
are who we thought they were.
The Browns, who were we thought they were.
Will they be who we thought they were? The team from years.
I've had enough of your shenanigans.
I do have to say why, and this is right here. Okay, everybody jump on Jim's soapbox right now. Here we are. Why did the Cleveland Browns? I really want to know, why did we go away from the running game in the second half? We dominated the Chiefs in the first half. Chubb's running all over the place. Kareem Hunt comes in, gets a dives over the pile, gets a touchdown. I mean, we're just pounding the ball. And then Chubb fumbles. That hurts.
That hurt.
But then it was like, oh my God. It's almost like they panicked. He fumbled. Chiefs go down. They score. Yes, the tidal wave was starting to build up. Damn it, run the ball.
Yeah.
Real dumb.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We run the ball, and our passing game is off the play action.
Absolutely.
You can't have Baker Mayfield down out there, just like what Bryce was saying about Ben Roethlisberger. You can't have him out back there throwing 50 times a game.
No.
Hey, you might win 1 or 2 of those games, but if he's back there throwing 50 times, that tells me we're down and we've got to throw the ball. It's ball control. It's run the ball, run it until they stop it, and damn it, crush this team today.
Well, interestingly enough, we know what Jim said after the Chubb.
This is total BS.
And I'm telling you right now, if they get away from it because of that one. See, that's what teams do. Teams that are not good. And that, listen, I don't know if Cleveland's good or not. But if they go away from the best 1-2 punch in the NFL at the running back position, they have lost their mind. Okay? That is the kind of thing that sets you apart from being a good football team and a bad football team. If they go away from it. I'm telling you right now, Chubb and what's the other dude's name? Thank you. If they don't get 30 to 35 carries in this game, they're making the biggest mistake in the world. Because guess what? They still don't have Odell Beckham Jr. in the lineup, okay? Yep. So that's not happening. And that is now, if Odell Beckham Jr. is in the lineup, we get a totally different story coming out of this game because it's different, okay? All right, Deshaun Watson, not injury-related, out. Brown, the tight end for the Texans, out. And Gruger Hill, he's sick. He's questionable for the game. He's a linebacker. The Browns, Odell Beckham, the knee, no good. Christopher Hubbard, tricep, out for the weekend. Michael Dunn with the back. Troy Hill, hamstring. Anthony Schwartz, knee. J.C. Treader, he with a knee. And Willis with an ankle. They are listed questionable. So that being said, you can't have the injuries to the vital people. When I was reading that list, there wasn't anything that really stood out to me so bad that if you are the Cleveland Browns, you better win this football game. So
I see one here, Sonny.
Well.
Go ahead.
Mistakes.
Yep. Go ahead, Cuervo. What'd you say?
Yeah, well, I mean, I see Jack Conklin on the injured list here, but I don't know what his status is. It doesn't give a status.
Okay.
But if for some reason he can't play, that's a big loss. That's a big loss.
Interestingly enough, when you take a look at this game, this one, I said it last week and I meant it. We'll find out what kind of team that the Cleveland Browns are. I'm on the Cleveland Browns. Cuervo, which way are you going in this one? Are you going to take the Bryce way with an upset heading your way, or are you going to stick with Cleveland?
I look at this game and I know that it didn't work out last week in Kansas City for the Browns. But kind of similar to what the mistake that the Bears made, they got away from the running game and it came back to haunt them later in that game. And so, but as far as Obi's Browns, they're in the pound today, and I think they bounced back. So, Obi, Cleveland's got this one.
Is it closer or is it a crusher?
Yeah. What?
Is it closer or is it a crusher?
I think it's a crusher because. Look, the only and I'm going to keep it real, Sonny. You're not going to like me for this, but you say a lot of things that I don't like either. So hey,
I'm ready for it.
I think the only reason that Houston won that game last week is because playing Jacksonville, rookie quarterback, you saw the mistakes that he made in that little highlight reel that Sonny showed. I mean. Houston, all they really did was take advantage of the youth of that Jacksonville Jaguar team, and that's why they made it look so good. Yes. It ain't going to happen today.
Yeah, keeping it real.
An experience, a lot tougher, Cleveland team that's in the dog pound today.
Absolutely,
it's not going to be good for. It's not going to be good for Houston fans today.
Second best fan base in the NFL. I'll say that. Okay. My brother does not agree with me. I think the Raiders have the best fan base in the NFL. After that, it is the Cleveland Browns, then the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the way I got the fan ranking on the top.
One more thing about last week's game.
Okay.
That penalty on Harrison, where they said he stepped on the player on the sidelines. I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
He got kicked out of the game, which is bullshit. He did not step on it. He got pushed.
Yeah, but that's the NFL. It's a game of inches, and sometimes even the officials in the booth get it wrong. We've seen a couple of those last week.
Well, the coach should have got fined too.
Absolutely. Well, he got reprimanded. Don't you do that again?
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
You happen to see that? Did you see that replay or no?
Yes, saw it, and I saw it. I didn't care, but Cuervo, what do you think of it?
Oh, I did not see it, guys. I don't know which play you're referring to.
The coach on the sideline and the kind of pushing, and then the other one came back and did a real good push on the coach. You just don't push coaches. I'm sorry. I don't care what they did to you. But you don't put your hands on the coach.
Well, the coach pushed the Browns player because
they push players all the time. If you think that's the first time that's ever happened in the NFL, I'm going to tell you this. You're wrong. It happens all the time. Keep your eyes open.
I'm going to say it. What I'm going to say is that game did not cost us, or that play did not cost us the game. I think the Chiefs in the second half did take advantage of Harrison being out, but I don't think that cost us the game. But it was just one of those calls where I was like, you know what? This is bullshit.
I love it.
But hey, it was made, and as soon as they went to the replay and they went up to the booth and said, "Oh, wait a minute," because at first they called the penalty on the Chiefs sidelines for the coach pushing the player, and then I was like, "Oh no, the replay guys up in New York say, hey, wait a minute, let's take a look at this." But anyway, I was just, it was very frustrating for me to watch that game, see that play, and it's like, here we go again.
Yep.
I'll have to go back and see it, guys, so I can speak to it.
Yep.
Yes. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
All I say is it's in the normal speed of the play, you kind of was like, well, what the hell what did Harrison, why did he step on him? But then when they slowed it down, he was getting up. He was taking a step backwards off the sidelines, and a Chiefs player came up and didn't really shove him, but just kind of bumped him, like that, and pushed him back on his own player, and then he stepped on him. And so, but anyway, it was just,
in the game, guess what? Shit happens, and that's what happened. And the flags will fly for no reason. We'll get that. All right. So everybody on Cleveland except Bryce, so that should be interesting. Fred has sent the picks. I just haven't written them down, so that's where we're at. So that's going to take us to the next game. Why not? The Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. In Indianapolis, we saw a Rams team that was really good last week with the new quarterback. Happy with the Matthew Stafford. Yeah, I hear you, Cuervo. 20 of 26, 321, 3 touchdowns. How about a 156 quarterback rating? That guy never had that in Detroit. What the hell? All right.
Or Cooper open Kupp, receivers like that.
It's 7 receptions on 10 targets, 108 yards and a touchdown. Calvin Johnson, I don't know, but that's your guy. So he's going to get him. But pass defense against Russell Wilson, 11 yards, 152 rating. That's not going to get the job done. We talked about this. 27 catches, 140 yards. Really? Where is the Indianapolis defense that everybody was so excited about? Well, guess what? Get ready for it, because here comes Henderson. 16 carries, 70 yards, and 4.4 clip. Watch out, touchdown. Carson Wentz all over the place, 25-38, 251, 2 touchdowns, 102. Not horrible. Has he done better? Yes, but it's all going to be about the pass defense. Andy Dalton, 72. I'm sorry, 5.4 yards in the attempt for Andy Dalton. It was ugly, but it is what it is. It ends up this week as you get Indianapolis. Will we see Carson Wentz be the Carson Wentz that everybody thought he could be in Philadelphia? When will that guy show up? Because we haven't seen the Carson Wentz from year 2-3 since 2-3. All right, so where's he going to be at? The Rams looking good. Listen, one of the better defenses out there. I mean, a 1-2 punch out there. God, it gets ugly. And it's not going to be good, even though this game's in Indianapolis. If Matthew Stafford continues what he did last week and runs it all through this season, we could be looking at an MVP candidate. and going, well, that guy needed to get out of Detroit. And Cuervo, what have we always said? Sometimes you wear out your welcome in one city. And guess what? Matthew Stafford might have done that. You can take a look at that performance last week and go, well, that's what he's capable of doing.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't help that he played a defense doesn't know how to cover or tackle. But, hey, maybe Indianapolis will do a better job at that and contain that offense a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly.
But by the way, just to let you know, there were no Rams on the injuries. Just to let you know, ruled out though. Xavier Rhodes, he's got a calf. So and Brandon Smith, they're out. And then Blackman with the back, Campbell with an abdomen, and Fisher with an Achilles. The guard Nelson, that's not good. Back and foot, double up that one. And Payne with a hammy, and Michael Pittman with an ankle, and then safety Willis. He's sick. They are questionable, at least of what I know. That's what I get. That being said, I'm
looking at the injury report right now, Sonny.
Say again?
I'm looking at the injury reports right now.
Right. I got, by the way, the injury reports I got were from from Thursday. So there could have been some that were thrown up on Friday. So
well, I've got it pulled up live on NFL.com. So
okay,
any
good.
questions you got? I got the injury reports right here.
Great. Is there anybody I didn't mention on that list there, or somebody?
Somebody of significance?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you got Quentin Nelson's listed as questionable.
Yeah.
Braden Smith is out. Xavier Rhodes is also out. The other guys that you mentioned are all questionable, but those are the two that are considered out.
Yeah. So
for this game.
So last week, Carson Wentz, not great, but not Carson Wentz that we've seen before. This is a guy that needs to get into the upswing of his career as well. You only get so many chances in the NFL at the quarterback position, unless you're in Atlanta and Matt Ryan can have the biggest Super Bowl hangover in the world, and they still start you and don't even draft a quarterback. But that being said, I mean, is Carson Wentz going to be the guy? And I hate this game because it's in Indianapolis. I hate this game because it's Carson Wentz. Those are two things. The stadium and Carson Wentz, they're just up in the air, and you throw the couch potato quarter in it. But at the same time, I don't know if what we saw last week from the Rams are a fluke. I will say this. If they got that production from what's his nose that went to Detroit in the trade, Jared Goff. I mean, we're talking definitely playoffs in the NFC East, where they're going to be right now. If they get that same kind of performance or somewhat close, listen, you don't expect Matthew Stafford to mirror what he did last week, okay? But I want 80% of it, and 80% is going to get the job done. I'm all over the Rams on this, like white on rice. It's unbelievable. But I don't know, Obi. What do you look at when you're looking at this game? Are you confident with Carson Wentz going into this one at home against what you saw last week against the Rams?
No.
Come on, man. I'm trying to softball these up here.
I know. Here's what I'm going to say is Carson Wentz is going up against the Rams defense and the Rams front four.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about somebody who's salivating? Yes, he got a sack last week, and Aaron Donald. He got a sack.
Then you got Ramsey, who's hungry.
He got as Cuervo stated earlier. He kept getting closer and closer and closer, and then he got it. But it was in the fourth quarter. You want to talk about Aaron Donald? He's got to be salivating about this game because, hey, he's got Carson Wentz, who doesn't move around a lot. He's a la Ben Roethlisberger. I'm going to stand in the pocket, and I'm going to throw it. And this could be a dangerous game for Carson Wentz.
I'm telling you right now.
He could get hurt in this game.
You don't, in case you didn't know, because sometimes things slide around here and the big news don't come out, but it's really big news. So let me just do this for you. Yes, I got some breaking news coming out of this game. Carson Wentz, in case you missed it before week number 1, got a new sponsor, a new shoe deal. It's by Quickset. So yes, Carson Wentz able to move around in the pocket. Man, oh man. I'm glad you laughed at that because a lot of people don't know what Quickset is. And I thought it was funny. I was sitting there thinking about that. I thought that was the funniest thing I ever heard. But I don't know. Cuervo, Carson Wentz, he's got the capabilities of being a Pro Bowl quarterback. We just don't see it enough. And we thought maybe we'd see it a little bit more in Indianapolis, but let's be honest, the Indianapolis offensive line is not going to be able – it's not going to do him any favors in reality.
No, especially not if Quentin Nelson's going to be
Exactly
questionable in this game. He's not going to really Braden Smith is out. But, good thing is Jack Doyle is going to play, it looks like, and Eric Fisher looks like he's going to play. So – but Obi stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to bring that up too. That I just is Wentz going to survive this game? Because the thing about the Rams defense, man, when they come at you hard. I mean, that you're talking about, arguably the best defensive player in the game today in Aaron Donald.
Yep,
and he ain't going to let up just because he's Carson Wentz. Like, if he's gonna rock Carson Wentz, he's gonna rock him. He doesn't care. So, the Colts are gonna have to find ways, to max protect Carson Wentz and just survive. That is going to be the message that I think Frank Reich needs to give to his team in this game is survive and protect Carson, keep him from getting pancaked in this game. So
it could get ugly. It could get ugly. And by the way, did you watch that game last week? The bits and pieces on Red Zone.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, guys were out there laughing. They were playing so good, they were laughing all over. They were having so much fun. And guys, when Aaron Donald is as good as he is and he's having fun, everybody's in trouble. I don't even care if they had Nelson. I don't even care if they had that. You're not going to stop him. He's going to get 3 sacks today. And never mind, Ramsey might even get it. I see this. I'm just going to say it. I see this as a blowout game, and they're going to want to know when they're going to get their savior quarterback who was going to step in for Carson Wentz when he was, quote unquote, injured, when they will get him back. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think this is going to be much of a game whatsoever. Here, Greg Weber just chiming in. Balls out, when Aaron Donald's on the field. It's weird. He tore his ACL last time he faced him. I mean, could we see a second one of that? Hey, listen, I didn't forget that. That was, and by the way, would that be karma coming back and getting another one on him? Tearing his ACL. I mean, it should be interesting. So,
I wouldn't go that far, Sonny. I would say, I think at worst that foot injury comes back, the one that he had surgery on.
Yeah.
It either it triggers again or, something else happens to the foot, because it just seems like Wentz is he's that fragile guy.
Right.
He breaks easily.
You know what I hate is when Jonathan is on an island by himself. Because Jonathan knows things. He knows things. Sometimes he says something and go, God, you know what? You're right. I hate to admit that, but you're right. And that bothers me. And he's the only one on him. Jonathan knows something. I don't know what it is. I'm on the Rams. I mean, so Cuervo, are you on the Rams? Are you gonna go with the sure-footed Carson Wentz? Sorry, I'm sorry. I couldn't even get that one out. But what do you think?
No, I'm not going to go with Carson Wentz today, guys. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Rams, just because. Yeah, I'm just uncertain about Wentz and is that offensive line with the injuries that they have up front, are they going to be able to protect him?
Look at this. Look at this. I mean,
Wow.
this guy got love after they kicked his sorry ass out of Philadelphia. I mean, I've never seen a Philadelphia Eagle fan want to kiss the guy they kicked their ass out. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm so confused about that statement. That's your buddy, right? That's Greg Weber. That's your buddy.
Yeah, he was the one that came on with us to
The
break
Philly
down the Eagles.
fan.
And he's like a box of chocolates, Sonny. You never know what you're gonna get with him. So
oh man, what
that
did
doesn't mean that he's sweet. I don't know with him sometimes.
Oh man, I love talking to happen. I love it.
That ain't a shot at just me there, Greg. You got an Ohio State fan right up there.
Yeah, right up there. And that's sad too, but it is what it is. All right, so pretty much everybody on the Rams. Jonathan, he's going to hang out on an island there with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. Something tells me it's bad, but that takes us to the next game, and I don't know if we'll get her today, but we're going to put it up anyway. That's right. Hey, how about the Broncos heading into Jacksonville? Jacksonville at home. Lawrence Taylor. Trevor Taylor, 332, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's what really killed him. Good God. The Houston Texans got 3 of them. How about that? And the pass defense was exactly what we really expected. I mean, this is a good, solid defense, guys, and especially against the pass. Knocking balls away. It's big. Von Miller, 2 sacks on. He needed to come back. That was huge. And Barkley, non-existent, 26 yards. I mean, that is your guy. Is he healthy? Is he 100%? That'll be the big question. But that defense is going to come at the Jacksonville Jaguars. 16 carries, 76 yards isn't going to get the job done. Sorry, it isn't. I love him. But on the other side, Melvin Gordon, 11 carries, 101 at 9.2 yards a clip. Really? And a touchdown. Gordon might run for 150 and get 3. This game, I don't even know if it's going to be this. I hate it because this is the guy. Listen, Teddy Bridgewater is going to salivate over this Jacksonville Jaguar defense. 2 touchdowns, 115.7 rating. Oh, I bet you Mrs. Cuervo's happy as they're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars today. And here's the thing. I can't even pick them. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars look so damn bad. It's horrible. Good to see you, Bo. Thanks for checking in. It is horrible to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars week in and week out. And listen, the rumors, USC, the Urban Meyer might head over. I mean, already stupid rumors, by the way, swirling around. And, will this – my buddy, and let me just throw this out to you. Tom McManus on Thursday picked the Denver Broncos, and he evidently talked to some of the coaches of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he changed his pick. I don't know why. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this game can get out of control fairly quickly if Teddy Bridgewater and Gordon start going. And so, Obi, when you're looking at this game, what are you looking at as far as the Jags? Are they as bad as I think they are?
Jags they're young. Jags are not a good football team.
No.
Urban Meyer is unproven as an NFL coach. He's, the rah-rah kind of guy, whatever. And so it's hard to get NFL players to think that way. And the last game that we talked about, the Rams and the Colts, what did I say? Who's going to be salivating on the Rams? Mm-hmm. So this game, who's going to be salivating for the Broncos? Von Miller.
Yeah.
Can't wait for them. He can't wait for the kickoff. He's going to, He's like, hey, rookie quarterback, welcome to the NFL.
Oh, the offensive line for the Jets. They're pathetic.
This could be out of hand in a hurry. Not to say that the Broncos offense is outstanding, but
they'll look like all of them are going to look like Pro Bowlers today.
Melvin Gordon, What? Last week? He runs like that? Oh, it's
What?
exactly. You stop doing that, especially when I'm talking.
But I agree with you. I just, Melvin Gordon's going to be outstanding. I don't know. And your buddy said it. I love Philip. I love Philip. Phillips. He went to the Texans. Philip Lindsay. I like him. I like him a lot. But I think I agree with them. This is what Gordon needs. He needs to be the feature. He needs to be the guy. And guess what? He is the only guy there. And guess what? When you got a Melvin Gordon, when you got guys that will catch the ball, Teddy Bridgewater does not have to be the second coming. He can be an adequate quarterback because that defense is going to be what it is. Listen. I'm not saying they're going to win the AFC West. Let's get serious here. But against bad football teams, they should roll. And this is one of those games where I look at it and I ask myself, how could you not predict almost a blowout? As bad as Jacksonville is, okay. Was week number 1 a fluke? Was week number 1 a joke? Well, it was a joke, but because when you watch the Jacksonville Jaguars, if you're a fan of them,
this is total BS.
Hated watching every second of it, and I did. Even the few times that it showed up on Red Zone, I had to turn my head. It was ugly, and I don't think it gets much better here today, Cuervo.
Yeah, it may not, Sonny. I mean, like I said, I I think that's why Houston won the game last week. They took advantage of the youth of the Jaguars, and that you could see that for a lot of the season. Teams just kind of taking advantage of how but you know what? Here in 2-3 years, it's going to be a different conversation because then it's going to be Jacksonville coming together. Possibly to be a team that's going to start winning some football games. As long as everything stays together. Yeah, you can laugh all you want. I know you don't see it now, but
of course I don't see it. So I mean, this one wasn't very hard as far as that's concerned. So let's just get it on record. I don't have a lot to say about this. I just think Denver's, that defense is going to eat them up. It's just not. It's going to get horrible. So on record, Obi, who you got?
I got the ponies winning today.
And Cuervo.
I have Denver, Sonny, and I also have a message for you.
I know. By the way, it's up a little bit higher, isn't it? Where is it? It's high up. Where is it? Did she erase it? Can you erase the? No, there it is, right there. Bang. Coming from Mrs. Cuervo, she just drilled it today. Listen, I am not under any illusions that my Jaguars are any good, or for that matter, think they're going to win today. So do you have something else up on top of this?
Yeah, I do, but it's along the lines of that.
Yeah.
As she was leaving for school this morning, I said, "Is there anything you'd like me to tell Sonny about the game today, since he's a Jaguar fan?" She said, "Yes. Tell him," and I quote, "he already knows what's about to happen, and that the Broncos are going to whoop that ass."
Yeah, she don't even have to watch the game. That's what it is. So that's how bad it's going to get.
Yeah, so that was the message. You already know what's about to happen. And at the Broncos.
It's a good thing I watch Red Zone, because if I had to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars week in and week out, I think I'd be on the suicide watch. That's for damn sure. That's how bad they are. But it is what it is. So everybody on Denver. By the way, that Denver defense they're going to win some games they probably shouldn't. I'm not saying they're going to beat Kansas City. Don't think Sonny's lost his mind yet, okay? But there are other games within the schedule that are questionable.
You never know.
Yeah,
I'm being for real. Denver at home against that could be interesting. It could be.
Could. We'll go. Could. That takes us.
What's the word, Sonny? Potential.
Yeah. He got that little bit of a chance to get there. Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance. So, that being said, that's going to take us into the next game right here. By the way, good one coming up as the Buffalo Bills in Miami. This one, man, the couch potato quarter almost had to come out because that defense, the pass, 281, 102 rating last week for a rookie. They need to fix that. Harris 100 yards. That's pretty good. No, it's not. All right, 270 and touchdown. Quarterback rating horrible. This needs to be a bounce back week for Josh Allen without question if they're going to be who they say they're going to be. Can't miss those passes. You got to get the ball to the people and get them. 14 targets, only 69 yards for Diggs. That guy needs to get into the end zone without question, but Allen's got to be better. But the pass defense, 177 yards, 6 yards, touchdown. But remember, that was against the Steelers. So Devontae Parker, 7 targets, 81 yards on 4 receptions. That could get big. So it's going to be about Tua. Will he be 202, a touchdown, interception? Needs to get the quarterback rating up and needs to be more accurate with the ball. But ball placement is going to be huge in this game. In reality, when you take a look at what Buffalo can do defensively, I think they're pretty good in the secondary. So I was looking at this game. If people think that I hate Tua, I don't hate Tua. I hate the timing of him being put in last year. But this is the game. Right now, Cuervo, this is the game. When you got Tua, this is that kind of mediocre game. That game where you say, we drafted you for this reason. This is what we got you for. And this is what they set themselves up for right here. This to cement his legacy in reality. And I don't know. Miami's defense, I like it a lot. So in reality, this has to be a bounce back game for Allen today. He needs to be more accurate with the ball because I'm going to tell you right now, that secondary for the Miami Dolphins is not bad. A few bad mistakes, we could see a twist in this game. Yep. So when you're looking at this game, Cuervo, what are you looking at?
I'm just looking for Buffalo to bounce back. I think Miami, obviously, they're feeling good about themselves going into New England last week and getting that win. But I think today could be a situation where reality kind of sets in for the Dolphins, and they realize that they still got things to work on. I mean, they may be competitive in the division, but they're not on Buffalo's level. So, I think on top of that, Buffalo, I think, wants to bounce back too. And taking that loss to the Steelers at home last week, the Buffalo Bills, they're mad. They're mad about it. They're pissed, and a pissed off team, and trying to bounce back. Sometimes it doesn't doesn't favor the team that that is on the other end. So I think I just think for Buffalo, and I'm going to stick to this until I see different. The Buffalo has to remember to stay balanced.
Yes,
you can't abandon the run just because you got the stud quarterback in Josh Allen, because you're doing a disservice to him by not keeping that balance offensively. You've got a running back in Devin Singletary. Is he Thurman Thomas? No, he's not Thurman Thomas, but he's a good back that can get the job done, even if it's dump off screen passes. Use him to help take some of that pressure off the passing game.
I hate this game because I know what Miami at home, that's a tough win. All you got to do is go back a couple of years ago and watch New England roll in there and get their asses handed to them in Miami. and that was with Tom Brady. This is the way. Listen, Flores is one of those coaches that has definitely showed up. When he was hired, I was not a great big fan of this, but this guy has got the beat of his players. Those players play for him. And there's a difference between players playing for a coach and then their players playing good for a coach. He's getting the good out of his players in reality, and I'm talking Brian Flores. Now, will it come at an expense of the Buffalo Bills at home? We've seen it before where the Miami Dolphins do it. But I don't know how much I trust Tua going up against a Buffalo Bills team that really thought they were going to win in week number 1. So there's a revenge factor for the next team up if you're, Miami and you're playing Buffalo. So I'll throw it over to Obi. When you're looking at this game, the game in Miami, is that a big difference? Or do you expect to see Josh Allen, which, by the way, needs to run the ball more against this team in Miami, more so than showing off his arm?
Well, what I see is I don't expect – I'd like to see Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills come back and make this a statement game of, yes, we are one of the football teams to be considered to make a deep run into the playoffs, if not go to the Super Bowl. If they don't do that today – and by the way, the Dolphins have Will Fuller is out as receiver today. This is what I'm looking at in NFL. And Preston Williams is questionable. That's 2 receivers that Tua does not have at his disposal. Now, I'm not a great big huge Tua fan. I think he's a product of the system that goes on down in Miami. And so I really think that Buffalo needs to come out and just make a statement in this game, defensively, offensively. Because let me tell you, they were pushed around last week.
Yes,
and they were bullied, and they were beat up, and they were sent home with their. They were at home. They were sent to the locker room with their tails between their legs. The Steelers just beat them up and bullied them. Now, if the Bills want to say, "Hey, we're playoff contenders, we're right up there with the Kansas City Chiefs," then show it today.
Absolutely. And this is a classic example of what your Brownies got to do. That's what Buffalo's got to do today. Week number 2 is a very big statement game for what is going to be the rest of the season, the next 15 games. And if they don't show it in Miami and show that they are that team that should win this division, should make the playoff run that they're supposed to make if you go by paper or what you saw last year, you can't let Tua and the Miami Dolphins beat you, regardless if that game's in Miami or not. And so we get a good pairing for week number 2 for the Buffalo Bills because, listen, division games, they're the flip of the quarter half the time there, Cuervo. And Miami they love home. And guess what? They're going to have fans in the stands. This is going to be a packed house. This is a game where if they don't come to play, that being the Buffalo Bills, they can walk out with an L here today. So when you're looking at this game, who do you have in it, and what do you think will be the turning point in this game?
Yeah, I expect Buffalo to bounce back, and part of me is like, do I? This is one of those back and forth. Maybe I need the quarter. I don't know. But
right.
It's right there if I need it. I will let you know 5 minutes before the show's over. But I think the turning point, Sonny, is going to be a situation where I think the defense baits Tua into a throw or something, and Buffalo gets a turnover in a crucial point in the game. Sometime mid-4th quarter, something like that. I think that's when the chess match really starts between McDermott and Flores.
Yes.
And I think that's where you'll see a situation where Miami's got the ball and they get baited into, or Tua gets baited into something, and Buffalo gets a big turnover when like I said, in a big moment in the game.
Yeah, definitely. These division games, you got to love them. And if Buffalo is going to be that team, I expect the game out of Allen that is going to, can be one of those status quos on why he's a good quarterback. Stephon Diggs going to have a big game today. He's going to have 120 yards, 2 touchdowns minimum. If they don't get Diggs involved with this game, they're just kissing their chances of winning this game goodbye, because the secondary can be, one of the places where they can have success in Miami. They've got some good. Don't get me wrong. I know who Miami is. I know who is in that backfield.
I know who they are.
I know who they are, Janae. I do know. But Stephon Diggs with that speed, I mean, watch for some go routes. It's going to happen, and he's going to get 2 touchdowns. So I am on Buffalo. Let's see here. Miami was picked by Bryce. Bryce is going to go the Miami route. He might be on an island all by himself, but I'm going Buffalo as well in this one. Now,
well, that's 2 games he's going to miss.
That said, of course, that's the name of the show. I only got the man up in the right-hand corner for about 10 more minutes, so I'm going to give you the floor, Cuervo, Obi. Before you get out of here, what is something that you want to talk about, or some of the other games that are going? I don't know what you think about Arizona and Minnesota, or is there a different direction you want to head to, something to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about the Cardinals.
Okay.
What a freaking shocker!
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he went cross country. Blew your prediction out the window going to the East Coast.
That team, that was an unbelievable defensive performance.
Out on the island almost.
I know,
Arizona.
Unbelievable defensive performance.
Yes.
Chandler Jones was a freaking
monster
animal.
Yep.
He was like, oh, you pay JJ Watt this amount of money, and you're not even thinking about wanting to extend me? I'm going to go out and show you what I can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
JJ
Watt won't be back.
Stick this in your pant pocket, buddy. But if
I'm back, you know what he's saying, Jim? You make a very valid point. You pay JJ Watts and you just overlook me. So this you're not going to have me next year, or you're going to have to get me paid to stay, and it's going to be that's going to be a big thing for the Cardinals.
The Cardinals got the Vikings today.
Yeah,
really. Cardinals are going to start off 2-0. I just see it. I don't think Kyler Murray can make that many mistakes for him.
hey, be careful. You never know. That's it. You never know.
But here, what did I say? And it came to fruition about the Cardinals last week. I said the Cardinals can't run the ball. They still can't run the ball.
But
if you're going to have Kyler Murray throwing, he's got AJ Green. He's got, and by the way, another player for the Cardinals that had like unbelievable week, DeAndre Hopkins. What the freak was that?
He's a freak of nature at the wide receiver
some
position.
Of those moves out there were just crazy.
Yep.
So I'm going to take the card. This is an easy pick. Cardinals at home. The bird's nest is just going to be going nuts. The fans are just like all over it. They're bandwagon fans out here. It's not even going to be. I don't even think this is going to be close.
I don't think it's going to be either. Before you're out of here, what's your belief on Kansas City and Baltimore, the Sunday night football game? This one here is getting a lot of play and a lot of talk. What do you think about it?
Lamar Jackson, turnovers, end of game.
You love it. There's no AFC North bias,
I hate to say this. The Chiefs, they're a good team. But here's what the Chiefs do. You make a mistake, they make you pay for it.
Pounce.
Somehow,
Pounce.
I mean, this kid, Patrick Mahomes,
I hate him. I hate him because he's that good. He reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys of the '90s. I just wanted to strangle him because they're just that good.
This is what I think. This is what I see. Patrick Mahomes is on the sidelines. and he's just waiting for the team to make a mistake. And it's almost like, go ahead, make my day.
Definitely something to keep track of. The Arizona Cardinals definitely were not what I expected so far, but more in the fact is what you say right here. In reality,
Do I feel lucky?
So it is what it is. So,
before I check out, I want to say, and I know this is, I like to do these little things of kind of maybe going off a little bit of script. I watched on Friday night. I watched probably the greatest comeback I have ever seen, not on TV or live in a high school football game.
Mm-hmm. I saw it.
Chandler Hamilton, ranked in the top 20 of the nation in high school football, was playing Bishop Gordon from Nevada. Bishop Gordon's in their top 10. They were ranked 7th. Bishop Gordon's up 24-7 with a minute and a half to go the game. Chandler Hamilton wins 25-24. One of the greatest comebacks I have ever seen.
Yep.
Chandler Hamilton got 2 onside kicks. The coach for Bishop Gorman was going ballistic.
Well, it's not. I hate when someone will say, give that much praise to a high school football game. And I call high school football game, but it just makes me feel a certain way. I'm not sure. I think that.
Really?
In high school football, listen, I don't care. Just as much as I don't like rookies in the NFL, I really don't like high school football or the greatest comeback on high school. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a jerk. I might be just a jerk.
What'd you say, Ope?
Did you like that game? That was unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, "There's no way." 24-7.
How did you even hear it? I mean,
it was on ESPN.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, there you go. I don't watch very much of ESPN. Well, that's obvious. You hear my picks.
2-point conversion to cap it off. That's all they wanted because they got the 2-point conversion instead of going for the extra point.
Yeah,
they got the win.
That quarterback for Hamilton showed some guts.
I saw it where he I don't know if he rolled his ankle or something, but he was all looking around at first.
And he was bleeding down the forearm and everything. He was a warrior that night. But anyway, I gotta go. Thanks for having me. I love it. This is
all right,
great
Obi.
time. And I even love it when that goofball Bryce from Brooklyn comes on. I think this is a great quartet of us 4. Yeah, there you go. But I can't wait. But later today, I'm going to text or I'm going to say something in our Facebook messengers. Bryce, I can't wait to give it to you, buddy. With my Browns win.
There he is, Jimbo. Always good to see you, Mr. Obi, joining us here on a Sunday. The original co-host, but the family, and that's why I got this guy here. So interestingly enough, as far as that is concerned, there's sometimes he is brilliant. I'll give you that, Todd. Sometimes he is brilliant, but don't say that too loud. He might get bigger head than he already is. That he has. So
Sonny, that picture of him with his face like that.
Yeah, isn't that classic?
It doesn't have the effect anymore though because of the what.
Oh yeah, it took we used to put that picture up all the time, but yeah, the what has taken over is no question. So
yeah.
But that being said, here we are. We're all set and ready to rock and roll. Cuervo, you ready to roll this last hour and knock it down?
Let's get him going.
Because it's gonna be fun.
So I'm ready to go.
I need to make another pot. So so you will have mainframe because I got to go make another pot of coffee. But I'll be listening. But
I do need a refill though. I'm gonna go get a little refill.
There you go. That's what I need. Now, not that it means much, but let's go to the next game that's up on tap here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. New England and the Jets. The Jets get the rookie quarterback. Guess what? They got it on the other side too. But Zach Wilson, 258, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Not a bad QB rating. Not a not a bad debut for a rookie quarterback, making plays, finding wide open players. That's huge. But Corey Davis, this is the guy out of Baylor. I love this guy. I think he can be some good stuff. 7 targets, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. That could be something that could be really fun to watch, but you can't let him get sacked 6 times, 10 hits, really? And that's coming the other side. But how about the defense? 185 yards, only a touchdown and an interception rating, and Tua was just being eaten up all over the field, making bad decisions, and that's what you want to do. But Mac Jones, 29 and 39, 281 a touchdown, 102. Listen, I will tell you, Bill Belichick will take that week in and week out in order to get the win. Pass defense against Sam Darnold, gave up 279, 102. That's not going to do you well. Jets need to find some kind of defense to stop and not let that happen. Those are the things that the Jets, if they're going to be any good, their offenses, I think their offense might be okay. But the defense is not, not only is it lacking, this is a defense that when you are trying to become a better team, you need to find the things that will make you better on the defensive side, and it's got to come from the secondary. You saw it right there, because the secondary, it's not just it's terrible.
Oh, that was terrible. Crazy knucklehead are terrible.
I'm telling you,
Horrible.
that is terrible. And listen, the Jets in a couple of years, if they get a couple pieces on the defensive side of the ball and they can maintain the offense of what it's going to be, we can actually maybe talk about the Jets in the playoffs. We're not going to get that until they fix the defense. And right now, the defense is going to be the reason why they lose this football game.
Yeah, you're probably right, Sonny. And that's I think that's what they need to focus on. In these upcoming drafts, free agency, whatever they got to do to rebuild this defense. I think it needs to be a very defensive-heavy offseason for the Jets, because I think what they've got going on offensively, maybe try to grab an offensive lineman somewhere, because
another weapon, maybe a number 2 or a step-up number 2 for them, I think would definitely help them.
Yeah. I mean, I like Davis. He's tall. He's got good range. You can throw the ball his way, and he'll go and snag it for you, but I think a good balanced tight end would definitely help them out,
without question.
But I think defensively, Sonny, they're gonna need a shutdown corner, because in this division alone, all right, you got Buffalo with Stephon Diggs, you got Miami. I'm gonna tell you something. Jalen Waddle's gonna be a damn good receiver for the Miami Dolphins. Jalen Waddle, the rookie. So between those two, and then you've got. The Patriots, they can go anywhere. They've got multiple receivers, but the Jets need themselves a corner that can slow these guys down.
Absolutely.
They don't have that right now.
Yeah, and it's going to cost them a lot of games. Not only that, just within their own division, because when you look at the Jets, and listen, they got the Patriots, and say whatever you want about Mac Jones. That guy can put the ball down the field deep and accurate. What do you always say about rookies? They're just not that. Hey, Mac Jones, that guy can get the ball down the field, which is really scary. So the Jets with the New England Patriots got that. Then you got Josh Allen over there. Say whatever you want about that. That's huge. And maybe if Tua comes to what everybody thinks that he will be, then there's another one up on top of that. So, I mean, Todd thinks that this one's going to be close. I don't even think it's going to be that close, because of the fact that Bill Belichick will get Mac Jones to do what he does best. Listen, Mac Jones don't need to go deep down the field on this, okay? You're going to see a lot of crossing routes in this game. Cuervo, you're going to see about 10 or 15 yards outs, and they're going to just go with it and try to win it, not on the shoulder of the quarterback, but the quarterback is going to have to make some plays, and it's all going to be about.
Don't hold back.
Yards after the catch is going to be big in this game, and I expect a lot of that. So when you're looking at the numbers and with the quarterback ratings, Jones's ratings might go down because of how far he's actually going to throw the ball in the air. It's going to be all about the receivers. I got New England in this one fairly easy.
I wouldn't say easy, Sonny. I think it's going to be close, but I do think the Patriots win the game. And but again, I mean, it's two rookie quarterbacks going at each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see some mistakes happen.
Yep.
But I think in the end, I think Mac Jones makes less mistakes than Zach Wilson. And
Bill Belichick won't let him make as many mistakes that might be coming that way.
And don't be surprised if New England brings some heat often on Zach Wilson. So that's what I expect to see, and I like New England to win this game.
And Bill Belichick will, if he sees it's not going to work, he will run over to his offense coordinator and say, McDaniels, stop letting him throw that crap. It's not working. Yeah. Find something else. Bill Belichick won't allow it. He'll let you make a mistake, but there's only so many times and opportunities that you'll be able to make that mistake.
Yeah, and that's what good head coaches do, Sonny. Yep. They will evaluate what's going on. Let the offensive coordinator be an offensive coordinator, but he also will make that decision to adjust. Take notes, Matt Nagy.
Yeah, no kidding. Cutesy, wootsy little boy. Yeah, so that exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, so we're both on New England. Not a lot really to talk about that game in reality, but the thing about that division clash, I love division games because you don't know what you're going to get. That being said, that's the name of the show. On to bigger and better games. And this one, I think, is going to be a good one. I think this one could steal the day. Let's talk about it. It is the San Francisco 49ers and the Eagles. I know your boy is watching, and he can't wait to get a little Jalen Hurts. 264, 3 touchdowns. What a quarterback rating for the Rook. And not only that, he can use his legs if he has to. So watch out there. Devontae Smith, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 71 yards and a touchdown. You got to love it. And he spreads the ball around, too. Not only could he run it, he'll get it to Smith, and the ball placement is really nice. But the pass defense against Jared Goff for San Francisco, you can't give 338 up and 3 touchdowns. It's nice to get the interception, but Jared Goff, 57 attempts, 6 yards. That's, that's pretty good. So you'll want to see more of this defense that's going to be there, but you can't have mistakes like this, especially on the special teams. Rush defense, only 116 yards, 24 carries, that's 5 yards. You can't give them big holes like that, especially this week, who will run it. How about Sanders, 15 carries, 74 yards. If he gets holes bigger than that, he's going to run for 125 and 3 touchdowns. Watch out for Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, that's what I'm talking about, 62 yards. Almost 9 yards a clip when he's going to run it. But Jimmy Garoppolo, 314 on a touchdown and a 124.2 passer rating. What? Yes, that's Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm telling you right now, that guy could be huge. And Kittle with 4 receptions and 78 yards. He needs to be more involved in this game. But when you can get Samuel to get the ball, 9 receptions, 189 yards and a touchdown, and make plays like that. That is a huge play for him to take advantage of a weakness, but that is the Lions. And that game, by the way, it makes me want to puke. Last week, and I'm talking about the Detroit Lions coming back in that game, but that is one thing when I was watching, I did not like the simple fact that the 49ers went into so much of a prevent defense, it almost prevented them from winning the game. We say that all the time. In reality, but I will tell you right now, the biggest thing in this game will be the holes that will be opening on the offensive line from the Philadelphia Eagles, whether it's going to be the quarterback or the running back. If they get those holes they saw last week, this game could get out of control. And here's what will happen. Jalen Hurts won't have to win the game if they can get that running game going. And right now, I'm going to tell you right now, that wouldn't surprise me that they will get that running game going. So San Francisco, with some injuries, by the way, just to let everybody know, you got the injury report coming from San Francisco. They've got a lot on the defensive side of the ball, and that could be a big difference maker in this game there, Cuervo.
Yeah. Let's take a look real quick. Matter of fact, every single player on the 49ers injury report is a defensive player, Sonny.
Yeah.
They have no offensive. Well, obviously we all know about Raheem Mostert, but he's on IR. So, yeah. I mean, it's not even worth putting him on the list, but Emmanuel Mosley, cornerback, he's doubtful. Marcel Harris, linebacker, questionable. Eric Armstead, questionable. Dre Greenlaw is out. Javon Kinlaw, questionable. Those are tough losses on the defensive side, Sonny, especially Kinlaw, Armstead. D Ford's on here, but it looks like he's going to play. So those are, you're talking about your front seven that is depleted,
yes.
With the 49ers. So what do the Eagles do to take advantage of that? And I think the obvious answer is try to pound the rock. For my buddy Greg, for his sake, I hope they don't try to get cute, as you like to say, get cutesy.
Cutesy wootsy.
Try cutesy wootsy and try to, throw all over the place.
They don't need to. They don't need to. Right. And listen, by the way, I think it's going to be closer than this number. I can't believe I'm actually going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, I like what I saw from them last week. Say whatever you want, regardless of who they're playing. Week number 1, if you're going to be a good football team, you got to beat the lesser teams or teams that you should beat. Last week, Philadelphia did exactly that. They beat a team that if you're going to be good, you're going to be good. And let's see here. I'm looking. Yeah, they beat Atlanta. Listen, Atlanta should have won that game. But Atlanta's who they are. So with Atlanta being the, team that can't show up week in and week out at the quarterback position, that's what you ended up getting. And Philadelphia beat that team. And they should have if they're going to be a good football team because Atlanta are who they are. But this week is a little bit different with San Francisco. You get Jimmy Garoppolo. But like you said, Cuervo, all those injuries coming from the defensive side of the ball, if they didn't have as many defensive injuries that they have on that report, I would pick San Francisco. But the problem is, by the way, the people that are on that report, they're vital personnel to that defense, and it's going to make a difference. And it was the reason why I'm going the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. What do you got?
Yeah. I think I like the Eagles too, and that's not just because Greg's watching. I honestly do think that the Eagles are healthy enough now, as he's mentioning, the offensive line and things like that. Now, their injury report is long.
Yes.
But a lot of it is, guys that fully participated in practice. I think the only one that they've got listed as out is Rodney McLeod, the safety. So even though they've got a lot of guys on this list, they're looking pretty healthy, Sonny.
Absolutely. And not only that, just take a look at Jalen Hurts. We talked about the running game and everything. This guy doesn't have to throw for 270. He doesn't have to throw for 300 yards to win this game. So I think we're going to see a lot of the run game in this one. We're going to see a lot of play action, and that is going to be huge because one of the plays that Sonny likes is the bootleg. And if anybody that can do the bootleg and do it well, if you can learn it, Jalen Hurts, it will be big for you because of the type of stature that he has week in and week out. And he can be the guy. Now, the problem with that is you don't want to depend on that much because you end up being Cam Newton, and what's going to end up happening is going to take some big hits. So that will be hit and miss, and get your ass out of bounds before you can get hit, because that's what's going to be the huge difference for Philadelphia at the quarterback position. Is what we see in Baltimore, not this year per se, but what we see in Baltimore, we didn't see Lamar taking big hits. We see him sneaking out of bounds, not trying to get the extra 2 yards that you don't need. And if Jalen Hurts can do that, that guy can survive in the NFL. He can be productive in the NFL, and he can be successful in the NFL. And that's going to be huge today. And I think we're going to be talking about Jalen Hurts next week on how well that he played. But again, remember the depleted defense that he's going to go into, so you can't judge that much on it. But you got to get this win if you're Philadelphia and you're going to be that good.
Yeah. I think keep it. If you are going to go to the passing game, keep it short. Because the secondary is healthy for the 49ers. So, good luck trying to beat them deep.
Yeah.
But I think
keep it simple, man. I think they should be able to keep it simple and win and fairly easy too. And I hate to say that because I'm on San Francisco, but they got murdered in week number 1 on the defensive side with those injuries. And listen, they can't afford that this year. Last year it killed them. I mean, they lost the whole defense. What are they doing in the conditioning room? Why are they getting injured? What is going on? Because listen, out of all the places, you cannot lose defensive players. You can lose offensive players. You can figure it out. But on the defensive side of the ball, you don't want to lose vital players because then you end up losing football games. Because this game's about defense in reality. You got to stop the offense.
Yeah, exactly. And now what I will say, though, to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit, Sonny, is that if you paid attention, yeah, it was garbage time. But Jared Goff was picking that secondary apart.
Absolutely.
And I think, but regardless if it was garbage time, I think Hurts has the weapons to be able to do similar things to that offense. So
he needs to be accurate with the ball in order to do that, though. So that's
and what does it show?
In reality, Jalen Hurts in reality is still a rookie. He's only got 5 games under his belt. This guy's still a rook.
Yeah. But I think he's got the poise. I mean, he played big time games in college. And so I think he is a rook, but I do think that sometimes you'll see at times he's got the poise to play like a guy that's more than just a rookie. So,
yep.
And he's got the weapons too, throw some slants to Devontae, Jalen Reagor's a burner, he's a guy that can get up and down the field pretty quickly. And and I will just say this, cause I know Greg's watching. If Miles Sanders has a big game, buddy, you're welcome. Right? So,
don't forget it.
Well, I'm saying that because we in our fantasy league we made a trade and I gave him Miles Sanders.
Oh,
so and then he gave me Hines from the Colts in return. So
got it.
There were a lot of negotiations, Sonny. We were trying to make a bigger deal, but in the end, it was better to just do a 1-for-1 trade.
Definitely. By the way, last week we had our weekly winner. Give you an update because I don't know if you've seen it. The weekly winner last week on the Bragging Rights Pick'em game that we have right here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Yep, it's my other brother, Fred Clark, ends up with an 11-5 record for week number 1. So what does that mean? Let's take a look at the standings for everybody involved. We got 8. We're trying to, by the way, I think your lady should pick games too, because I'm trying to get my brother's lady to pick games. So it'd be fun. But
I have a women's poll going on.
There you go. Do you?
No, I'm saying that would be the idea.
I think it'd be great and match up against us. Although if you pick the Bears because a Bears against the Dolphins, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear. But the standings, look.
Their uniforms are nice.
Yeah, their uniforms are nice. Fred Clark, 11-5, Cuervo. Then it's DC, Bryce, 9-7. I went 8-8. Brian Tarvin and Obi went 8-8. And Jonathan, listen. I can't believe Jonathan went 7-9 last week. I could have went 7-9. Anybody could have went 7-9. But he scares me. Again, we go back up to that game where Jonathan is out on the island. What was the game where Jonathan was?
He's taking the Colts.
Yeah, he's taking the Colts, man. And I wish we could get him on air to find out why, because I want to know why he has the Indianapolis Colts going in there. And so that being said, I don't know. There it is. The top 19 in the country for the picks. That comes from my brother, so he's sitting up on top with that. That being said, of course, that's the name of the show. We're going to head into the next game, and we kind of talked about it a little bit with Obi before he got out there. So let's go to this one. It is, that's right, the Minnesota Vikings up against the Arizona Cardinals, and that happens today. I'm excited about this one because, well, Kyler Murray, 289, 4 touchdowns and an interception, 121 on that QB rating. He did not look bad. Found the open guy right there. You got to get it to them, and then yakety yakety yak yak yak. 8 targets, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns for Hopkins. But the Joe Burrow experiment against Minnesota, 2 touchdowns, let him throw for a 128 QB rating, and you can't do that. I told everybody the Minnesota Vikings could end up in last place in this division, and look at what happened. Mixon, 127 yards against this defense and a touchdown. 5 sacks, though, that is huge. So if they could get to the quarterback today, that should be interesting. But it's a different type of quarterback, so that's my worry. But Chandler Jones, again, monster. 5 sacks, 6 hits, and 4 tackles for loss. Big time against Ryan Tannehill, who's trying to get that 106 QB rating for 3 years in a row. But Ryan Tannehill, 212 yards, only 6 yards on that. So the defense was there. Not only that making big plays like that one, ball in the air, they practiced that play unlike wide receivers. So interestingly enough, and that comes from my brother, those defensive players, they practice the chip drill. Wide receivers don't. They just catch the ball. So interestingly enough, when we come into this game where Arizona is taking on the Vikings, I have no trust in the Vikings. And again, and I'm going to say this all year long, Zimmer is on a team where it's just not built for his type of coaching. It is something that is completely missing. It is the connection between the coach saying, I need this guy, and the front office going someplace totally different. And that's what we're getting in Minnesota. That's why Zimmer will be out of a job. He'll be a defensive coordinator on a team that needs a defense coordinator come next year, or if he gets canned before the end of this season. It's a bad thing for this guy. But Arizona is on that thing. I mean, week number 1, you win. If you're the Arizona Cardinals and you're a Cardinal fan, you don't expect the Cardinals to win in week number 1. And especially, against a team that should have been good. I don't know. So that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Cuervo, what are you looking at as the Arizona Cardinals are at home against the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, I mean, I look at Arizona, and I mean, you can't help but be impressed with how they played last week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if I was on the island, but I know I don't know, many people didn't take Arizona in that game. I just felt that, Arizona was just going to, go in there and expose that Titan secondary, and that's kind of what happened. So, as far as this game today, I mean, I think it's going to be more about trying to establish the run with Arizona today. I think that's what they're going to try to
Edmonds,
do.
right?
Just because I think they're expecting Murray to come out and try to sling the ball, and I think it's not going to happen. I think it's going to catch Minnesota off guard, and the only thing I'd be really interested in is Patrick Peterson back in Arizona after leaving the team. How
is he playing? Is he hurt? I mean, I thought he was hurt. Is he playing today? As far as I'm looking at that now, I can't find the game. The Vikings, the Vikings on the road. Is he on the injury list there, Cuervo?
He's not.
Oh,
He's not.
Interesting.
But I tell you who is, Sonny, and these are some big names for Minnesota. Christian Darrisaw, tackle, out. Everson Griffin, defensive end, out.
Ooh.
Anthony Barr.
That's a big
out.
one. That one's a big one.
Eric Hendricks is even questionable. I think he's probably going to play, though, because he did fully participate in practice. It doesn't say when the last practice was, but he was a full participant. And so expect to see him today. But those other names, Sonny, man, I mean, Anthony Barr is always hurt. So I'm just kind of wondering.
The guy can't see the field to save his life, and when you're that good and you can't get on the field, you really never can live up to a potential and get the big money that he wants probably. And if he ever could, it would be good for him. The Cardinals only have one guy out. It's Kennard. He's out. But Kelvin Beachum is questionable with a rib injury. Anybody else on the Cardinals on the side that you see? As far as that's concerned?
Well, there's guys listed, Sonny, but it looks like they're going to be a go. Hopkins is on here, AJ Green, Charles Washington, Rodney Hudson, the center. So I mean, I think they just list them just to list them, but
yes,
but but those guys look like they're all going to be a go. And going back to Minnesota real quick, I think it's time for Minnesota to consider moving on from Anthony Barr. I really do.
I do too. And because at some point, well, we say it all the time, at some point you just got to get to a different place to see what can end up happening. I think I agree with you. Anthony Barr could be a problem as far as that is concerned. By the way, just to let everybody know, I just got the picks from the guy who won last week. Again, he was on the island with the Giants. And when I'm looking at here, he went with San Francisco over Philadelphia. That was an interesting pick as far as what I've seen. He's on your Bears, by the way. Let's see here. Nothing outside the norm as far as that is concerned. But interestingly enough, I don't know if that will help him and maintain the lead or not. We'll find out. Some of the other teams, we got a couple of guys that are out on a limb with their picks, so it should be interesting to see where that ends up. And there it is. Good to see James Obi joining us, and we'll get him next week as well. That being said, of course, that's the name of the show. You're on the Arizona Cardinals, right there, Cuervo?
I am going to take Arizona, yes.
Yeah, so that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. That's going to take us into the next game. And this one, I don't know, will it be interesting? Probably not, because it is the Atlanta Falcons. And listen, I'm going with what I'm going to say. I'm not picking the Atlanta Falcons till they win 2 weeks in a row, and it ain't going to be this week. 379, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, interesting. But you talk about a guy that can get off the interceptions, it's him. But Antonio Brown, 121 yards and a touchdown. Listen, he's at home. He loves his quarterback. To quote one Terrell Owens, that's my quarterback. Rob Gronkowski, 8 targets, didn't drop a ball, 90 yards and a touchdown. And Godwin, 9 receptions and 5 and a touchdown. The pass defense against Jalen Hurts, well, they gave it up. And that was the problem. 3 touchdowns, passes. You can't do that if you're Atlanta. But Atlanta's got a lot of other problems on the offensive side of the ball. 164, 71.6. No touchdowns, by the way. He looked pathetic. And that is the reason why they should have went after a quarterback instead of this guy. Although 4 targets, 31 yards, that's your number 1 draft pick. But Dak Prescott just rolled it up against the Buccaneers. 4 or 3 touchdowns. Maybe should have won the game. I don't know. But if Dak Prescott can throw on him, guess what? I don't think Tom Brady's going to have too much of a real problem on the offensive side of the ball. If anything, they're going to give up defensively because they had some injuries in that game against Dallas. But it's still, you got Tom Brady, a guy that's capable of throwing 5 touchdowns week in and week out and doesn't look like he is slowing down. And, guess what? The Falcons are the Falcons. They don't have any weapons anymore except Calvin Ridley, and that guy's going to be gone next year. He's not going to stay there unless they get some kind of quarterback that can get him the ball. And that's what's happening right now. Right now, Matt Ryan cannot deliver the ball. And listen, when you got Calvin Ridley, now he may not be Julio Jones. He may not be one of these top 5, but this guy was a step up number 2, if not the number 1 last year, because Julio Jones no-showed all year long. If they can develop that relationship, they can be a good football team offensively. But the offensive line is depleted, and you got Matt Ryan, who he is, and the defense is just not there. This is all around a real bad football team in Atlanta. And if you take Atlanta, you're a homer, because there's no way you should be taking Atlanta this week there, Cuervo.
Oh, God, no. You'd be crazy to do that unless you're, like you said, unless you're a diehard Falcon fan and you just can't stand Brady or the Bucks.
Yeah.
And even looking at Todd's comment, it won't be a rout. I don't know. I tend to disagree. I think Tampa's going to have really good control of this game.
Well, Atlanta's secondary is going to be how many? He has like 5 wide receivers, for God's sake, or 4 wide receivers and Gronk. Tom Brady's going to throw for 320. He's going to throw 4 touchdowns, and they're going to rout him. This is going to be a rout. This is my blowout of the day, because Atlanta just can't get out of their own way. And we used to talk about teams like this with the Cleveland Browns a few years back. They can't get out of the way. My Jacksonville Jaguars would trip over a blade of grass, for God's sake, if they had an opportunity to be good. They just can't do it. And right now, Atlanta is showing that they don't have the talent, and the front office just severely dropped the ball. It's okay that you want Matt Ryan for this year. Fine. But in the draft, get a freaking rookie. The guys that are going to look at all the names that are having success right now. And Atlanta could have had, pretty much any of them. And they're all playing well, better than what we're seeing from Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is going to now check out, go to backup quarterback, and maybe get a couple million to come play for a football team. But right now, Matt Ryan is too hungover from the Super. This guy is mentally checked out 4 years ago. And you are not going to see anything from the Atlanta Falcons, not this year, not as long as Matt Ryan's the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I just think that right now, Matt Ryan's just I think he's just holding on, really. I think he's
But
just
they're paying this guy big bucks, by the way. I forget what the number is, but it's in the mid-20s, if not near 30. And he's going to show up. He's going to play. He's going to collect his money. That's what he's going to do. But the problem is Atlanta, they're so dug deep in that contract, they can't get rid of him. And that is the problem. That's the reason why they should have went and grabbed up one of those guys out of the draft. I like Pitts, don't get me wrong. It was just not the right pick for the Atlanta Falcons. I said it on draft night, and you can't convince me any differently.
No, and you're right, Sonny. I mean, look, I'm sure Pitts is going to be a good tight end or whatever.
Yep.
I just don't think he was a good fit, like you said. It's not what the Falcons needed.
Yes.
There were bigger needs that they had, and they chose to go flashy like the Falcons always do, or do a lot, is go flashy over what they truly need. Just like when they got Julio and they drafted Calvin Ridley, and now the Kyle Pitts, and because if you remember, I mean, back then Atlanta had Roddy White.
Yes.
They already had a good, solid receiver. And
yes.
Then they went and drafted Julio Jones.
Yes.
And it wasn't at the time. Everybody thought it was crazy to do that. But, I guess it worked out.
Yeah. So, this one was easy for everybody. I mean, this is the full blast. Everybody on Tampa Bay up on this one, and you'd be crazy to be on Atlanta. And you'd be crazy. I don't even know what their schedule is, but they can't even beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's saying something. This is a team that is completely depleted morale. They have zero morale because there's no chemistry. And the problem is that's going to continue on from week to week to week for the Atlanta Falcons. It's just not going to be good. I hate to say I think I'm going to have a good week before it starts because that'll jinx the hell out of me. But damn, I think everybody should be on it. Some interesting picks this week as far as the games are concerned, but that'll lead me to a game where I was actually going to pick a team, and I made the switch. And let's go to it. It is the Dallas Cowboys on the road to take on the Chargers. I was going to be all over the Cowboys in this game, but they got defensive losses. But Dak Prescott, 403, 3 touchdowns and an interception, 101 quarterback rating against the Tampa Bay defense that was supposed to be good. Bad injuries that happened in this game, and they took advantage of it throwing the football, and that's what ended up happening. Cooper with 13 receptions, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns on 16 targets. CeeDee Lamb, 15 targets, only 7 receptions, 104, and a touchdown. Dropped a lot of them. The Chargers defense only gives up 135 yards, and a touchdown. That's not bad. This is a good defense. That play right there, you seen the speed of these guys? They'll get in front of a pass and make some big plays, and that's what they did. Ezekiel Elliott wasn't there. 11 carries, 33 yards, but he wasn't supposed to be there. That defense was going to stop him, and they did. 27 carries, 126 yards for the Chargers defense. So interestingly enough, that was against Washington. Justin Herbert, though, 337 touchdown and interception. He's going to get better than that 85.2 quarterback rating. And this could be the week that he ends up getting it because of what's ended up with Dallas. Dallas lost two big guys on the defensive side of the ball. I know you got the injury report there, but one of them is DeMarcus Lawrence. When you lose a DeMarcus Lawrence, you lose pressure on the quarterback. Guess what? Justin Herbert's going to get that extra second to throw the football, and I don't know how Dallas wins this football game. The only way that they can win this game, Cuervo, is if they open up holes for Ezekiel Elliott. They still don't have a couple of their main pieces off the offensive line to be there for them. I don't know how Dallas wins this game in reality. If they had the two, one of the two on the defensive side back, I would have maybe pulled the trigger. But the problem is the offensive line, they're going through some injuries as well. And I don't know if it's going to be big enough for Ezekiel Elliott to be productive.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Ty Nishke.
Yeah. I know him personally. He played indoor football right down here, and I know Ty personally, and I love him. But
yeah, he's out because of an illness, so it's not even an injury. He's just he has an illness. It looks from what it says. Yeah, he's sick. So, but Damontae Casey, safety, questionable. Donovan Wilson, safety, questionable. But it sounds like these guys are gonna be okay to play. But yeah, even Lawrence, limited participation, doesn't really give a status.
Broken foot. He's not playing. So he's he's going to be. He just had surgery the other day. So I'm thinking of the right guy. That's DeMarcus Lawrence. I'll check that out. I'm almost sure I'm right on that. But a big loss on the defensive side of the ball for the Cowboys with him. And that broken foot. Let me see here. Maybe I'm thinking of foot, and maybe I'm thinking, oh, that's why I can't see it. I'm on the picture side of it. Yeah, broken foot, out 6 to 8 weeks for DeMarcus Lawrence. That is a huge loss on the defensive side of the ball for him. So yes, and I was correct on that. And that right there. Listen, if that guy was in the lineup, I might have went with the Dallas Cowboys in that because of the performance from week number 1. And listen, the defense. Listen, it's Tampa Bay. You're going to give up points against Tom Brady. They didn't play exactly horrible, but the problem is after week number 1, the injury report goes off. You lose 2 guys right there. That's huge. It's going to be too much. I don't see how Dallas gets back into it. Who do you have in this one? Do you expect Justin Herbert to have a big game?
I think Justin Herbert's going to play a good game, but I actually do like Dallas in this game. Yeah.
Wow.
I do like Dallas in this game. I really like what I saw from them last week.
I did too.
Against Tampa Bay. But here's the thing. So get ready to bum, 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 bum. I've got something for you here. Sonny.
Oh, wait. See, the good thing is I'll do it right there. It's right. There it is. Let's bring him in. Cuervo, go ahead.
I know that DeMarcus Lawrence is a big loss for the Dallas Cowboys, but here I read something, as the show's been going, look for Micah Parsons, the rookie, to play some defensive end today.
Yes, they moved him from linebacker up onto the line, if I'm not mistaken. And that's
I think they're going to switch him around.
They
go back and forth.
Yeah, he's going to be back and forth. You'll see him back in, but I heard that guy can get to the quarterback if he gets a step. So that could be interesting with Michael Parker. I did hear that. I don't know how much I trusted, more so. He didn't play horrible last week, but he didn't play great. But maybe taking him away from what he normally does, which is exactly what he's going to do today, Cuervo, which is, play the play. You say, we always say, watch the damn game. Players like to play the play that they're good at. And I'll tell you, the dude from the Broncos, from your lady, what's his name? The defensive dude, his name's slipping my mind. Von Miller. Listen, when he was younger, that guy could switch out places. Now he's pretty much going to the quarterback, but when he was younger, he could play that. He can switch spots. And I think, and Jalen Ramsey is another one of those guys that can do that as far as that's concerned. Guys that are versatile and they could read plays and see what they can do to be better to help their team. It's huge. But when I heard about those injuries and the offensive line is, it should be interesting. Now, I think the X factor in this game is obviously Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott making plays with his legs are going to be the only way the Dallas Cowboys can win this game, because the defense is going to give up at least 24 points, guys, at least 24 points. You mark my words. And I don't know if the Dallas Cowboys are capable. They scored 40-something last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it's a totally different defense that they're going to be looking at with the Chargers. The Chargers are quick. They make plays on the ball. And if Dak does not deliver the ball with a pinpoint accuracy, there could be 3 or 4 interceptions in this game by the Chargers defense.
Yeah, I mean, very possible. But I think that they're going to be fine. I think that the offensive line will hold up. Again, look, they did it against Tampa Bay, Sonny.
Yes, they did.
That's what I'm thinking about is like, how did they fare against Tampa's defense, and how do the Chargers defense compare?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm thinking about. And
well, you're on the island with that Dallas pick because no one's going that route. So that one will be good for you if that ends up happening. Listen, I mean, I hate the Dallas Cowboys, but I want them to be good, especially in this division. I mean, right now, the ones that are going to be battling right now are the Philadelphia Eagles right now. So you need this win because I think Philadelphia is going to go 2-0. If you're Dallas, you need this win. You can't afford to lose this game. So how much of urgency will be a part of this game? Will we see plays that we probably shouldn't be because they're, in that spot? They're desperate and trying to make plays. It should be interesting to see what happens. I think we'll get a gander of this within the first quarter of the game on how it will go for the rest of the game. And if the Dallas Cowboys go desperate, their goose is cooked, as they say. So that's going to take us into the next game here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. The Tennessee Titans with a bad outing last week, and the Seattle Seahawks get the win. Russell Wilson, 18 of 23, 254, 4 touchdowns. Look at that quarterback rating, 152.3. That's what we're used to seeing, but it was the Indianapolis Colts, who we knew they weren't as good as what they were. Tyler Lockett, 4 catches, 2 touchdowns and 100-yard, average of 25, a clip. Thank you very much. DK Metcalf as well. He has 4 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown, spreading the ball around. But the pass defense, 4 touchdowns last week against Kyler Murray. And listen, you can't let Kyler Murray do that. The guy's going to run all day. 16 carries, 91 yards for Carson last week. That guy can run the ball. There's no question. And if you have a weak defense, he's going to be big. But Derrick Henry, 17 carries, 58 yards, did not get into the end zone when he should have. And the rush defense for Seattle, hey, Taylor, 56 yards. And I 3 yards to carry. You're not going to get very far away from them. That defense, it doesn't remind me of the Legion of Boom, but it's good. And Ryan Tannehill just took a beating last week, 21 of 35, 212 yards, touchdown, interception, and the rating was horrible. But that was against the Arizona defense. But that O-line allowed 6 sacks, 9 quarterback hits. Can't let that happen. Tennessee has to change their Cuervo. They have to become a different football team offensively, or they're going to get rolled today. And I don't know. I don't know if that was a fluke last week, but I'm telling you right now, Seattle looked like the team to beat within the NFC. NFC West, just by Russell Wilson taking over the game. And listen, what do we always say? If you're going to have that kind of quarterback, he's got to be able to take over the game. I mean, what, 5 receivers he hit last week on a regular basis? I don't think Tennessee, even if they have it full-blown going balls to the wall offensively with Derrick Henry, if they can't throw that football, Cuervo, their goose is cooked. I don't see how I think Ryan Tannehill, is going to have the come to Jesus, the come back to earth type of year so far. I don't think I don't know. Will we see Ryan Tannehill in 2 years, last year and the year before that, Cuervo, this year? Or has he been figured out?
I think the offense has been figured out. It's just slow down Derrick Henry and try to get Tannehill to beat you and that it'll happen.
One's worried about that, by the way, Cuervo. Regardless of the 106 for the last 2 years, no one's worried about Ryan Tannehill. With a quarterback rating of 125, they're not. And never mind throwing touchdowns. And this is a team that has who? Julio Jones and
Julio.
And I heard there's some yakking going on back and forth between wide receivers and quarterbacks through Tennessee as well. And that's not what you want when you got Julio Jones. You went out,
Right.
You paid this guy, and now he needs to show up. Ryan Tannehill needs to find a way to get him the ball and be more productive. And if you are not good at play action, and you should be when you have Derrick Henry, guess what? You're not going to be successful. And if they magnet in on Derrick Henry, I think that's how you win the football game, because you're going to put it in the arms of Ryan Tannehill, and it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, exactly. And all you got to really do is get some pressure on Tannehill. He'll make a couple bad throws.
He'll be the Miami Ryan Tannehill that we're so used to seeing.
Yeah. So to me, I mean, I think if you want to throw an X factor on it, I would say the guy to probably look at is Bobby Wagner for the Seattle Seahawks. I think he's going to be the guy that they're going to need to either, they're going to need him to either A, go after Tannehill, put that pressure on him, or drop into coverage and bait Ryan Tannehill in a bad throw. And I think Wagner's the guy that can get the job done. He is that type of guy. So for me, I think that's what you're going to see, and I think Seattle will win this game.
I think they actually handily do it,
and they're in the 12th man.
That's right. I forgot they're at home too. That's not good for you if you're Tennessee going into. You better have a game plan outside of something that they haven't seen, because if you're going to go in there with Derrick Henry, maybe I'll throw it here and there. You're done before you even get started as far as that's concerned. So it could get ugly, like you said. That being said, that's the name of the show. Guess what? It's Sunday Night Football time. That's right. The big game of the week in reality. What are we going to get from Kansas City and Baltimore? In Baltimore? Well, you're going to get Lamar Jackson, 12 carries, 86 yards. He didn't get into the end zone, though, which is interestingly enough. I think that's where they need to calm him down in reality and get him into the red zone and let him get into the end zone. Williams, 9 carries, 65 yards and a touchdown, 7.2 a clip. That's pretty good. So if you can make the holes, they can make the plays. That's going to be the big question. Murray also, 28 yards and a touchdown, but only 2.8 a clip. That's not going to do it in reality. But the rush defense, 26 carries, 153. 4 touchdowns. Come on, you need some defense there, Kansas City. You better show up. And then you give it up 321 yards to who? Baker Mayfield? Don't give up that many. But here it is. It's all about Patrick Mahomes. 337, 3 touchdowns, 131 quarterback rating. Kelsey is super bad, as he always is, and finding guys like this guy right here. By the way, I got to give the guy credit. He didn't do the flop into the end zone, so I'll give it to him, and I'm kind of happy about that for him. But Kelsey, 6 receptions, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had targeted 7 times. Guy don't drop them very often. And Hill, 15 targets, 11 catches, 197 and touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They just do what they do. And listen, say whatever you want about Baltimore. Their Baltimore the defense is not great. It's pretty good, and but it's not going to live up to what we've seen in Baltimore on the defensive side of the ball on a regular basis for the last 5 years. They're slowly on that decline on the defensive side of the ball. Why? Because they're depending a lot on Lamar Jackson. And Cuervo, I said it, you said it, we all said it. Where is the wide receiver? They don't have one. And guess what? Lamar Jackson is 80% of that offense. Guess what? Defenses know what's coming their way. But Kansas City's defense, listen, Kansas City's defense is the Achilles heel of this football team because you're lucky you got Patrick Mahomes that can score 40. Because if you don't have Patrick Mahomes, you're not winning football games if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. But guess what? They do have him. Guess what? They'll score 30 at least. And I think they're going to end up beating Baltimore this week.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the situation on Monday night with with that game against the Raiders. Baltimore had multiple opportunities to win that game. They were given some opportunities, they couldn't get it done. So it makes me question, is Baltimore that team that can be a team that can close games out? And right now, I don't see it. And that was even going into last year.
Yes.
There were times where Baltimore couldn't close games out. And let me tell you something, Kansas City, 90% of the time, they know how to close. So
they know how to close if it's on the offensive side of the ball. If they're defensively have to make a stop, they could be in trouble, and that's why you have a Patrick Mahomes that gets you up 2 touchdowns, so you don't have to worry about it at the end of the game and have to worry about your defense showing up to win a game. If it gets in that situation, Kansas City's going to lose the football game. And say whatever you want. Okay, sometimes I have a habit of not admitting when I'm wrong, but guess what?
I was wrong.
Lamar Jackson is a guy that can make some plays. But, so I was wrong for the last week. But what did we say, Cuervo? These defenses are going to catch up to this guy. And now, since you're Baltimore has nobody. Cuervo, they have nobody. 80% of that offense is going to Lamar Jackson, whether he's going to run the ball or throw it. And when he throws it for 185. Defenses love this predictable guy because all they got to do is move maybe 2, if not just one guy, to make up for what Lamar Jackson is. And now with Jackson, with literally, listen, say whatever you want about Sammy Watkins. So you say whatever you want. He does not have that go-to guy that he has to have in order to put the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. Said it before, I'll say it again. If they would have went out and got that number 1 wide receiver and they got Lamar Jackson more into a passing game around 200, 225 a game and 2 or 3 touchdowns in the air, then we would be talking about the Baltimore Ravens. I have them almost last place in this division for a reason. And if they don't watch it, Cincinnati's getting better. They may just sneak ahead of them in the standings within the AFC North, one of the toughest divisions of football.
Yeah, very possible, Sonny. And that's what the Ravens always have been. And I've told you this before. They're not a team that goes out and signs big time receivers, stuff like that. The one time that they did, back when Joe Flacco was quarterbacking, guess what? That was the year they won the Super Bowl when they went and got Anquan Bolden, and they signed him, and they wound up winning the Super Bowl that year. So. Hello, like as Herm Edwards, hello. So,
hello, anybody home?
Get you
McFly.
Get your wide receiver that's worth a nickel, and you might find yourself deeper in the playoffs.
Nickel
with
a nickel.
Right.
You need a dime at the wide receiver. You got a nickel. Okay, you need at least a dime. Okay, somebody.
Well, they got pennies at receiver.
Yeah, somebody that they can throw the football to, and they don't have it. And hey, guess what? This is the NFL, not for long. The conservative hasn't worked very well for you. Okay, you're lucky you got the Super Bowl, by the way. Well, actually, they got 2, but they're lucky they got the second one. So say what exactly. So if you're not gonna break the bank on the defensive side of the ball, go out and find a freaking superstar at the wide receiver position. Until then, you're gonna see games like this. And guess what? It won't matter. Patrick Mahomes will throw 40 on you, if at least 36. And they're not going to be able to score that much. And that's the problem. And not only that, Cuervo, guess what? It takes away, when Lamar Jackson runs the football, it takes time off the clock. Because guess what? He's running the football. The clock does not stop. And that the clock is going to be one of their biggest defenses that they got to go against. And they're the ones in control of that. We're going to see a change in Baltimore this year because they didn't do what Atlanta should have done, which is went and got a quarterback. What this team should have done is went out and got that number one wide receiver. And I don't want to talk about rookie wide receivers. They all suck. And then guess what? I don't care how good their new guy is. It don't matter. Guess what? I don't know his name off the top of my head. So guess what? He sucks. And it is as simple as that, because if you're any good in this league, I know who you are. And I just don't. There's nobody that Sammy Watkins, please. It's just not what it needs to be for them to be successful in the NFL or to make the playoffs or make a run in the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, they're going to go 1 year, and then all the fans, yelling about Lamar Jackson not being able to get out of the first round will become a relevant point to make this year, and it happens this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Todd made the comment that the Ravens are conservative by nature, and then it's very true. But here's the thing, the Ravens are not built to be in shootouts, like Kansas City is.
Yep.
And so we see it all the time, Sonny, where when you're playing a team like the Chiefs, if you don't match their 6 with a 6 of your own, you're in trouble.
Absolutely.
You're in trouble. Just like you saw in college football yesterday with Alabama and Florida. Alabama putting up 6s, and Florida we're getting 3s at first. Now,
kicking field goals is not going to get the job done.
Yeah, Florida started coming back, but my point is, had Florida scored some 6s instead of 3s at the beginning, maybe we're talking about the number 1 team going down yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing with the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't settle for 3s against this team, or else you're going to find yourself in a hole really quick.
Hey, listen, Justin Tucker is the best kicker, almost the best kicker in football. But guess what? If you're going to put all the weight on him to win you football games, just say that out loud. It just sounds stupid, right? When you have Lamar Jackson there, okay, you need to depend on Lamar Jackson to get the job done. Just like any other football team in the NFL, your quarterback wins your football games, not your kicker. There's only so many Adam Vinatieri's out there, okay? All right, and Justin Tucker is Adam Vinatieri in his prime, but this team is built on 3s. They're going to lose more games than they should win, and it is. I was wrong about Lamar Jackson within the first year, but I wasn't wrong about defenses figuring it out. And then the failure of the front office to bring in any kind of wide receiver to make them that much better, put them in that position regardless how good their defense is, because they have 6 games with their own division that are going to be dogfights. And yes, against the Cincinnati Bengals, it's going to be a dogfight. That's just not an automatic W. That's a flip of the coin, depending on how you're playing. And if Joe Burrows goes off on your ass, and you have say whatever you want, Ben Roethlisberger is Ben Roethlisberger, and he can get the job done. Those are 6 dog fights that you wish you could get an outside schedule that you're going to be able to coast on, and they just don't get it this year. And that's going to be the problem this year. Their schedule is going to kill them. So we'll watch and see how good that the Baltimore Ravens can be. So that takes us to Monday Night Football. And Cuervo, it is your favorite team. All right, second favorite team. And that is the Green Bay Packers at home to take on the Lions. I know, Cuervo, but it is what it is. 133.
I love those stats, though.
Those Aaron Rodgers stats, you gotta love them.
Look at that rating.
You hate them, these are perfect. This is
rating.
Artwork for Cuervo right here.
Look at them passes.
He's loving it. But here's the thing: pass defense, 311 yards. 136 quarterback rating for the defense last week for the Lions against San Francisco. Listen, they went on coast mode. They went into prevent defense, and they let the Lions back into this game. But you get big plays like this, you can't give those up. And regardless, how bad Aaron Rodgers is they'll find that way. And they do have the running game. Look at that, 131 on the ground last week. Jared Goff, how about 338 in the air, 3 touchdowns and an interception? I told everybody, listen, This is the right guy. Listen, they don't have maybe the wide receivers that they really should have, but that guy will work there. And then on the other side, the pass defense giving up five touchdowns to Jameis Winston. Really? Only 148 yards, but still, you can't give up 5 because that means you're scoring into the red zone. And, guess what? 4 red zone touchdowns for Jameis Winston left. You can't give that up. And but the Lions are the Lions. Listen, the Lions were a fluke last week. I've been listening to so many people have so much love for the Detroit Lions. Listen, I have a lot of love for them too. I picked them to finish second in the division, but they had no business in that game. They were getting their asses handed to them. But that tells you something about the coaching staff, though, Cuervo, because guess what? If your team's going to change, yes, you need personnel, but it has to start with coaching. And listen, that coach has been taking a lot of heat this offseason, a lot of heat in training camp, a lot of stuff. But guess what? There were balls to the wall, and they were still in that game. And they very easily could have given up, which the old Lions would have given up, and they wouldn't have even been in that game. So the coaching staff, maybe it's not as bad as everybody seems to think it is, but we go to the question. Is Aaron Rodgers trying to screw over the Green Bay Packers, or was that just a one-game incident? And I want to believe that. But if he goes and does this crap again and he's consistently like this, I will take Aaron Rodgers off the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer in a heartbeat if you're just out there to try to smooth your ego over this football team. Yes, you're not getting what you want, but guess what? You're a professional football player. You go in there, you play football. You don't throw games. And that's what we're almost getting with Aaron Rodgers, with him throwing his temper tantrum.
Yeah, very true. And like I said, we kind of went back and forth about this a little bit on your Facebook, and it wouldn't surprise me if you see a little bit more of that on Monday Night Football. And,
wow. But then the division too, Cuervo. I mean, this is not a game to be losing. I mean, in reality, if you're Green Bay, you don't want to lose this game. I mean, the Lions don't have it. See, and that's another thing. You look at the Lions have nothing to lose in this one. They're not expected to win the damn game. And so the simple fact of the matter is that if you show up and get a couple of turnovers with Aaron Rodgers being half-assed, because let's be honest, Aaron Rodgers knows how to throw an interception. He's pretty good at it. And so if you can get that defense to show up, get a couple of picks, keep yourselves into the game, into the fourth quarter, maybe you'll have a chance to beat them. But will Aaron Rodgers go back to being Aaron Rodgers that we know at the end of the game that's going to win you the football game? We don't know his mental state, but we will get a good idea of what it is on Monday night. After Monday night, I think a lot of people might have a different opinion about Aaron Rodgers, because if he is actually throwing these games, that guy's going to receive so much heat regardless how great he is. That fan base will turn on him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I mean, but it's going to go to show, like, look, it's not the first time that it's happened. I mean, This organization, I don't want to say they did Favre dirty, but they kind of showed in the door.
Yes.
In a very unprofessional way. And
well, hold on. Was it unprofessional or was it business being business? Brett Favre wanted something. They couldn't give it to him, regardless of whatever you want to say, or they should have.
Sonny, they couldn't give it to him, or they didn't want to give it to him.
Well, that's see, and I think that's the difference between the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys, the Atlanta Falcons, and the New England Patriots. Just using those three as an example, the Green Bay Packers can't run their team like those other three, regardless if Aaron Rodgers wants to be tickled, on the bottom to make him happy. Okay, they don't have the capabilities of doing that. As it is, they're paying him way too much money now, probably against their will, which, by the way, if he's not the highest, he's the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. What more do you want? Oh, now you want to call you want to say who you want on this roster? At some point, the Green Bay Packers need to say, and they have, listen, Aaron, you're getting paid, play football. And listen, Aaron Rodgers wants to be part of the front office, then he needs to hang up the cleats and then go ahead and be in the front office. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand big superstar quarterbacks usually get what they want. Okay? Usually ask and get what they want. But guess what? This is a total different monster. We can sit here all day. My brother, and I love him so, he won the football pool last week. This is the Green Bay Packers. They do things for the organization, not for the player. And as far as I'm concerned, they bent over backward for Aaron Rodgers, especially with the money that they're paying him. Now, whether or not they're going to get the personnel he wants, well, that they leave that up to the general manager.
So be it, Sonny. I mean, Green Bay needs to decide what they're going to do and how they're going to handle this situation.
Yeah, who is going to be the general manager? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers, or is it going to be the guys that are writing the checks or allowed to write the checks? See, that's the difference. What are they allowed to write for? And, based upon the community-owned football team. And I'm telling you right now, that makes a difference, within this one. But this week, I'm not going against Green Bay. I mean, they're just even with Aaron Rodgers sucking as bad as he did last week, and believe me, guys, he did. Okay, and he'll be the first to tell you, but we don't know the motives behind that suckiness that he was doing. But this week, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers, thinking that Aaron Rodgers is not being a total jerk. And I was thinking of a different word, but I'll try not to say that word. If he's not being a jerk, they should win this game. In reality, even though this game, this game is at home. They should fairly win this game easily, don't you think, Cuervo?
I would think so. Yeah, I think Green Bay will win pretty easily.
Yeah. So, and the Lions last week were a fluke, and they just took advantage of situations, and they're not as good as what that performance was last week. They're just not. They were getting their asses blown out for a reason, okay? And Aaron Rodgers, if you put Aaron Rodgers up against the San Francisco 49ers right now, Aaron Rodgers would probably win that game by a mile too. So that's, just the general thinking of what I see, and that is all of them. And we didn't do too bad. We only went 5 minutes over this week.
Not bad, yeah.
Not bad. And a lot of fun. And I see now, just to let you know, I will try to do those videos. Those are that takes work, and I will try to do them because I think they add to the show. It brings out a lot of things that maybe hopefully people don't know.
Yeah, I liked it, Sonny. I liked it.
So I think it will add. So just another thing that we try to do to make the show good. But Now, that being said, that's the name of the show. Anything you want to jump on as we get on out of here?
No, Sonny. I think what I'd like to do though in the future weeks, for those that play fantasy football like I do, and I know fantasy football. There's gonna be quite a few times that I'm gonna be debating in my head who I should start or sit. So maybe a segment of that.
Throw it out.
Yeah, let's throw it out there.
Especially when we have bye weeks, we're going to have like 3 or 4 games that are not going to be there. It's going to be perfect for that. And now that's going to start in 2 weeks, so maybe 3. So, but even now, you can throw them out there. It should be all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. First down.
You must be watching the Bear game.
I am definitely watching the Bear game.
Hey, they got first down. That's
a win.
Celebrate.
That's a win. Something
right there. By the way, who's starting? By the way, who's starting? Andy Dalton. God.
Andy freaking Dalton against his old team.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Andy Dalton. See, we didn't even mention that he's going up against his former team.
I did mention it.
Might have went over my head. I was probably getting coffee.
Could be.
Could have been something.
Not a good play there, guys. Come on.
Yeah, so
we gotta be a little more creative.
Yes, definitely.
Anyway.
So I'm watching it too. I see what you're talking about. So all right, well, that's gonna do it for us then, Cuervo. We'll do that. We'll throw throw the fantasy question out. We'll find out. So we'll do that next week or whenever it pops up. We'll always answer a question. We don't have a problem with that. So that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Everybody, I hope you have a fantastic week. Enjoy the rest of the games here on the Red Zone. That's the way I watch it. And then, of course, Monday and Sunday Night Football. Enjoy those as well. Make sure you get a lot of breaks there. You can get a lot to eat during the commercials. So that's always good.
There you go.
There you go. You got to find
Good
the positive
opportunity.
in watching football with commercials, and that's the only one I can find. That's going to do it for us, everybody. Take care. Talk to you next week. We're out here. Bye-bye.